Shall we roll into it?
Let's go.
We'll try. Hello, welcome to the Idle Chat podcast. You join us in freezing cold Norfolk.
It is 0 degrees.
Exactly. With the UK's second best mapper, Jack Tonkin from Jay's Garage. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
We're sat in his new dyno cell with a Japan as fuck R32 GTR with twin, what are they, twin?
They're Pexi RX6s.
So from the
Very,
80s.
very old school turbos, yeah.
Old school turbo.
It's very cool. Makes a cool backdrop.
Very cool backdrop.
It's better than a dog doing fellatio to itself the entire time.
You might
That's
not
what we
see
keep
that.
having.
No, I didn't see that.
We've been doing them at Adam's house lately, and Adam's dog both tries to hunt me the whole time.
Yeah, nice.
And he enjoys cleaning.
Self-fellatio.
Yeah, self-fellatio
he's-
mid-podcast.
He's a very clean boy.
Cool.
He is. He points at me with no pause.
But no, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
For the people that don't know, what is Jay's Garage? When did it start? What do you do?
Fuck, when did it start? What year are we now? 25. I think it started about 2013, 14-ish, maybe. I think it was when I actually started doing it for customers kind of thing. But obviously, I had a workshop beforehand doing it for myself, didn't I? Kind of thing, building my BDC cars and Josh's car and that kind of thing. That was probably 2010-ish, I suppose.
So I
I
had a
think.
unit for the boys. didn't I?
Yeah, the boys unit, and then it turned into...
That was the one in this town, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
probably
yeah.
had been there a few times,
Yeah.
I think. Obviously, Callum had. Yeah.
I remember going there for the first time and seeing, I think it was Goddard's S13,
Yeah.
had a road sign as the transmission.
Yeah.
sign.
Oh, I still take a piss out of him because that's actually his S15 on the ramp.
Yeah.
And he's put a transmission turn on that because he's got an AHP gearbox. I was like, where'd you get your road sign for this then? But no, he did actually go and buy some premium mild steel for that. So,
I'll tell you what I remember from Jack's unit. I bought the world's ropiest S13. And it
Oh,
had a hole
the
in
grey and
fuel tank.
red one. Yeah.
And I filled it up with fuel just up the road, and it was a full tank of V-Power, which at the time I did not have the money for. And I got to Jack's and it had half a tank, which was disappointing because someone had put a wood screw through the fuel tank. And Jack was like, just siphon out the fuel that's left in it. I've got a spare tank. So I'd never siphoned fuel out of a car before. And what I managed to do was about fucking 2 litres directly to the lungs and thought I was dying.
Thought that's how you siphon fuel.
Yeah. Well, I'll give it a big suck. And Jack was like, be careful because it's not clear hose. You won't see it coming. I was like, the fuck's he on about? And then, took a litre of V-Power to the lungs and thought my world was ending.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was probably around 2013,
Yeah,
I think,
that's when
wasn't
you
it?
had the
2012,
Red 14.
2013, something like
Yeah.
Long time ago.
It was a long time ago. But you started
that.
in the city town locally, and you just did it with the boys. But
Did you run Joe's Garage from there, or was that solely your own unit?
No, so what happened there was I sort of did because I did your old 32. I put that 25 in it for Ash, didn't I? That was one of the early jobs, and that was in that workshop. But what happened was, so I quit my job at what I was doing, making wiring looms for F1 shit, and
Just
then
that boring shit.
it-
Typical.
to be honest, it sounds so much more glamorous than it
with
is.
Jack, you'll have to get used to the fact he'll gloss over stuff that you'll think, whoa, hang on. Hang on. Like, hang on.
That was something to talk about.
Yeah. He'll gloss over stuff that most people would talk about for hours. So apologies if we miss something that you hear and go, oh my God, what? So Jack, you started making wire looms for F1 cars. How
Yeah,
did you do?
used to do like Mercedes F1, Red Bull. Used to do Pro Drive, Titles, Porsche, all that sort of stuff.
For yourself or for someone else?
For someone else. I used to work for a company. And then one day I'm not very good at being an employee, to be honest. I just don't really like being told
like
what to
that on
do.
a daily
Yeah, and it just got to the point one day and I was just like there being petty about something, about what time I was having my lunch or something, I don't know. And I literally just sat there and I thought, fuck this. And I just literally walked out the back door, got in my car and drove off. I was just like, I can't be arsed with this. Went back to my workshop and I was like, fuck, how am I going to pay all my bills? And it was actually when Josh was building his S13 and obviously I was talking
The
to
V8
him.
one?
I was talking to him about it and he was like, well, you might as well fucking crack on my car, I'll pay you to do stuff to that. I was like, yeah, right. And made a wiring loom for it. I think it was the first thing, well, not really, 'cause it was BMW loom. just
Butcher a wiring.
butchered into an S13 loom. That used to be the thing years ago, didn't it? And then I think it was just word of mouth, wasn't it? People just started talking, saying I was there, and I just let him do it. And then
I know a guy.
yeah. And then I actually saw it coming as well. I thought, this is going to turn into a business, which was then when I was like, I don't really want to do that yet because I'm having fun. So I actually got rid of that unit. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
Because then I was in what used to be here. Do you remember the wooden shed?
Yeah.
And,
I do remember the
Was
wooden
that the
shed.
old little?
No, that's round the corner.
Yeah, no, that was the next one.
This had basically a glorified shed,
Yeah.
didn't it? Like a wooden
Which-
frame shed.
You can see some. So you see that crack? That's the original pad off the old wooden one. And then when this got built, it just got extended around the sides.
So basically, it was the size of your diner cell, wasn't it?
It was pretty
It's
much,
tiny.
yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I binned off. Well, I didn't bin off doing stuff for other people. I just thought I'm going to go have 6 months out, and I just went travelling for a bit. Australia,
Was that when
Japan,
you went
and
to
that kind of-
Australia?
Yeah, and then I think there was a couple of times I flew from Australia to Japan, obviously to fuck around at the Bissu and that. You know what I mean?
We'll come back
And
to
then,
As you do. Yeah.
and then,
Point glossed over.
and then, I think it basically got to the point where I just ran out of money, and I was like, I've got enough money to fly home. I either get a job in Australia and stay out here, or, well, actually, I also had to come home because of speeding offences and having to go to court. And it was like, right, my
that.
court.
Quite a sizable skin.
Do we talk about this?
We can talk about that, yeah. So my court date was on X date, and it was like, I don't know, 2 months, and I'd run out of money. So it was like, well, either get a job and stay here for a couple of months, or just come home and start a business. So I was like, well, I'll come home.
We'll talk
Is
about
this
this in the loosest term.
Is this the Acle Straight?
Yeah, that was the Aggle
If
Straight
you
one, yeah.
vaguely Google what the final drive ratio is as a 32 and a 5-speed RB25 gearbox, and imagine someone on the rev limiter in 5th gear, that kind of sums up the speed and offence we were talking about.
Yeah.
In pursuit.
Well, it was actually, again, Josh's S13 that was driveline limited. I can't remember what that used to top out at.
Did about 140.
Yeah, we probably won't say numbers just because then we're putting it out there. Allegedly, I think that car topped out about 140 or something. And I know he was just sat on his rev limiter, and I was behind him thinking, oh, we're screwed. We are so screwed.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That ended up in a minor telling off.
it escalated quite a lot, didn't it? Yeah, I think they tried to make a bit of a...
They don't like.
What's the thing? They
Example.
tried to make an example out of us,
They
yeah.
don't like limit of 5th gear.
I remember, I know you won't probably mention this, but back in that day, you had an S13.
Yeah.
I remember you built the 32 because the police knew you too well in the S13.
Yeah,
So
they
you had
didn't
to
like that.
change cars.
You kept getting pulled over and VIN checked every 5 minutes.
Yeah. I can remember. I think it was actually on the way to a BDC event. I think it was the last one I did in that car. I drove
Linden Hill
it
one?
there. Yeah,
I came with you.
Yeah, I drove the car to it, and we didn't even get to Thetford, I think.
No.
And I got pulled over, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? And he was like, oh, we're just checking your VIN number. I was like, that's a fucking odd thing to be doing. And then that was back in the days of tax discs. He was like, where's your tax disc? I was thinking, yeah, I know where that is. I'm not going to say where that is, but that's why you're checking my VIN number.
Oh, no.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly. Obviously.
Yeah.
So that circles, that's a good point. BDC, when did you start that? British Drift Championship, for those that don't know.
I think that was 2013. Pretty sure is when I did that. I only done it for a year, didn't I?
I don't-
Oh, did you only do the 1
Yeah,
year,
I
did you?
did it for a year, yeah.
Sort of to say you'd done it kind of thing.
Yeah, at the time, I think if it went back in time now and I was who I am now then, I think I'd have probably been more keen for it.
Yeah.
But back then, I just wanted to fuck around with the boys, do you know what I mean? I just wanted to get on doors and then have seat time, really, and that's just not really what I was achieving. I can remember at Linden Hill at one of the events, I think it was probably that one we were on the way to, I sat in the fucking queue to battle, and I literally fell asleep.
I really was.
And somebody banged on the door there, were like, you're up. I was like, shit. And like up against like to where the start line was, there was about 4 cars ahead had gone, and I was just asleep in my car. I was like, shit. And then,
It mentally prepares you for a run, like
A sleep.
if you sleep.
and then I was like, obviously like a bit flustered, pulled up to the line. I think, I can't remember who I was battling. Might have even been Polo at the time in that G35 thing, yeah.
2J.
And then I was all a bit like, what am I doing? What am I meant to be doing? Just flat out into the first corner, like, I don't know, let's just fucking whatever. But yeah,
What got you into drifting? When did you start? You had Civics before, didn't you?
yeah.
You're a
So
Civic man.
yeah, the whole Civic thing started. I was actually very fortunate with this as a kid. My dad, who used to have a garage himself, just doing sort of general garagey stuff, had a trader's policy, just like what I've got now.
Yeah.
And he was allowed to add me onto it, and I could have anything up to a 1.6 litre. And
So,
like I
straight
say,
to-
very fortunate for me, it didn't cost me a penny to have a 1.6. It didn't even cost him to put me on there. It was,
really?
yeah,
That's mad.
literally it was free.
You
Yeah.
couldn't do that now.
I was like, fuck, this is decent. And obviously had a first car, which was just boring. And then started driving, was like, I want to go fast. I Googled what's the highest horsepower production 1.6 vehicle made, and it was a Civic. And I was like, yep, finding one of those. So bought that. Great. But to be fair, brilliant cars. I can't knock them at all. Like, people obviously have beef against Hondas and stuff, don't they? Like, ricery. But for what they are, in my opinion, they're brilliant cars.
But I think the people that have beef with them are the people that have escalated to stuff like this.
Yeah, and then
they sort of look down on people. Getting into the smaller cars.
Yeah, true.
And also, given the prices of any of it now,
yeah,
even a Civic's not cheap anymore.
no, it's not. No. Yeah.
But
and then it just escalated into wanted a turbo. I think that's what it was. Wanted to play with turbos. I actually started to build a turbo motor for the Honda, and because I knew the motor in it was dying. And I was on the way home one day, coming up the hill, and the car just started getting slower and slower and slower. And I thought, I'm not going to make it to the driveway. And I literally pulled into my driveway, and it just stopped, locked the front wheels up, motor seized completely. I was like, shit. And didn't have much money at the time. It was either pump all the money into this turbo engine and get it built, but it still needed, I don't know what it needed at the time, probably another 7-8 grand, which back then, a lot of money. A lot of money.
It's a lot of money now.
It's still a lot of money, yeah, but back then as well, it was a serious amount of money. Yeah. And I was planning just to do it over years, not in the next 10 minutes kind of thing. And I was like, right, either pour all my money into this Honda or I buy an S13. And I was like, let's do that. Because I sold all the bits I had for the turbo motor, which are still in boxes, pistons and rods and stuff, and it bought a whole S13 at the time. Yeah. Decent S13 for $1,000.
Why S13? Like, what brought you from Honda 1.6 Ricer to S13?
Turbos and sideways.
That's
and it was cheap. And
but like a lot of people,
you see the cool pictures on the internet in Japan, and you think, fuck, look at that, and you go buy this shit box. I can remember my brother took me to. It was actually from Mitch at what was his business called? Was it Drift Garage or something?
Drift Garage.
Was it Drift Garage? In
he had a
Derby or something? Yeah. So he was selling this S13. My brother gave me a lift up there to buy it. And I can remember when we pulled up, he was like, why are you buying this piece of shit? Like, he just couldn't understand it. But, a standard S13's hideous, isn't it? Really? Especially a UK one, yeah.
Was it pig nose or non-pig nose?
Yeah, pig nose, yeah. No, it wasn't. No, it was non-pig nose. Yeah, facelift one. Yeah, it was the worst, yeah. Again, when I pulled up at my dad's house as well, where I used to work on them back then, he was like, what?
You've lost your fucking mind.
He was like, you have lost your fucking mind. Going from like my first car, which was like, a nice presentable diesel Golf, and then when I bought a Honda, he was a bit like, I can kind of understand it. And then I turned up with this piece of shit S13. And then obviously had CA troubles, as you do. Realistically, looking back at it now, I had no CA troubles. That engine was a dream.
It was 18-year-old kid troubles.
It was like, chipped ECUs and boost leak problems were what it was.
Nothing's changed.
No.
I had a similar issue.
Just I didn't know how to fix it at the time. I was just like, why is there black smoke coming out of my car? This engine must be dead.
I had a similar issue with that 13, didn't I? I was like, Jack's breaking up on boost. And I turned up at yours and you're like, yeah, take it up the road then. And like, 2 bar.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And I was like about to pull the next gear and no.
But yeah, at the time, you just don't know when you're young and it's your first turbo car. You just haven't got a clue, have you? Yeah. And obviously, I got to the point where I sort of learned about, boost leaks and stuff.
You didn't have a choice.
Yeah. And then, I can't remember what it was. It was fighting me one day and I just got fucking bored of it and just pulled the CA out. I was, I'm going to do an RB swap. And at the time, that was a pretty out there thing to do.
Was that when it was red? Was it red?
Yeah, it was red,
like gloss red.
Yeah. So yeah, at the time, people didn't every day do RB swaps. It was like, in the UK anyway, I don't know what the rest of the world were doing at that time, but if you had an RB swap their chassis, it was like, fuck it.
We're talking, what, early 2010s?
That would have been, maybe even earlier, 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
Maybe 2009, yeah. Again, my dad was like, what are you doing? He was like, do you know how hard that's going to be to make that work in that car? I was like, I'll figure it out.
It's God's motor.
Yeah.
Little did he know.
Yeah. I was like, I'll figure this out. And I can remember the day I got it working and stuff.
Doing this to your dad.
I can remember pulling it after, because at the time I had to get it tuned somewhere else. Yeah. Got it tuned and I pulled up at my dad's house. And he just saw the grin on my face, and I was like, fuck, it works. I was like, this is rapid. Yeah. I remember because me and Fly went to pick it up.
Yeah.
Fly's just one of our friends with a nickname for people that don't know. And we're on the way home. And I can't even remember why it was like it now, but it was just stock RB, do you know what I mean? Just tuned, made 300 horsepower. And I can remember, I can't remember what it was. The rev gauge wasn't working properly or something. So I thought I was taking up the red line and then changing gear, and it wasn't. It was like $5,000 or something. And we were like, oh, it's all right, isn't it? It's not really that quick. And I was like, oh, we'll wait for another straight and we'll give it, a limiter bash run. And I think it was because it had a slipping clutch, because it had a stock clutch in it as well. That's how janky it was, yeah. And so I think the boost tailed in, and it got faster and faster and faster. And at the time, 300 horsepower was...
a lot. Yeah. It's coming from a...
You're one of the boys if you had 300 horsepower.
You were one of them. Yeah. You were the biggest swinging dick in the area with that car.
And then I was like, fuck, this thing is fast. I can remember me and Fly just giggling like girls the whole way home.
I think we've all had that experience with our first car, the first time you pick it up from tuning.
Yeah, I got to about that bit of road there after Jack had finished tuning my RB15 and thought the world was ending.
Yeah.
I got a phone call from, obviously, hands-free. Go, oh my fucking God, this is fast.
I know that we all know the feeling.
But then you just get used to it, don't you? Yeah. Go up a few levels and you look back and you think, it wasn't even that fast.
No.
Yeah.
That was also, I remember, was it when it was red that you bought, and I thought you were the coolest cat, and you bought Shadow Chrome rotors brand new?
They were the boys, yeah. Some rotor grids, Shadow Chrome. I think they're about $1,000 as well, weren't they?
You were like, oh, fuck.
I think they probably still are about $1,000. I don't know, yeah.
Rare, I think, in Shadow Chrome.
They even just,
Want them, but
no, I still want them.
They're still cracked.
Yeah, we thought they were the boys. Yeah, do you remember the grey IS200 I had that had white grids on it? Do you remember one of the spokes snapped clean in half on one of them?
I remember
crazy.
you welding it back up as well.
Yeah, I think she was welded spoke up there. We're now Streeto that
night. Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
classic. So you went from S13, you RB swapped it. It was the most...
I've kind of missed a step there. I had an MX-5 beforehand. So because when I did the RB swap, I needed a car to get to work. So I bought an MX-5 and I thought, oh, this would be good. I can just learn to skid in it.
Professionally kept this.
And to be honest, buying the MX-5 was probably the best thing I ever did for learning to drift.
That's interesting, because we have a few people that have said that.
Because it had no power, I had to fucking pedal the shit out of that thing. And I used to throw it hard into any corner that I thought, hey, we can make it around that sideways. And
you did.
And it didn't even have a welded diff. It had stock diff, and I used to just lug it into stuff and just hope for the best. And that was when Nick had that S14.
Yeah.
And we were learning and that kind of thing. So then once the S13 was done, I hopped in that and I was like, well, this is easy. Yeah.
But then you stepped it up a bit, didn't you? You put the hybrid on it.
Yeah, then we went hybrid and it was, I don't know. It wasn't dyno tuning back then, it was just road tuning. Hybrid would have been 400.
I remember you upset Britain's first best tuner in the world by telling him to make it 1.5 bar.
Yeah, back then we hadn't really pushed. People weren't pushing stuff, were they?
No.
And I can't remember what it was. It had some pretty bad boost control because the actuator or something.
It was dog shit.
I can't remember. And I think 1.5 was pretty much the minimum. I was like, let her eat. And I can remember at the time he was like, it's not going to live. It lasted a pretty long time. It did last a long time. Yeah.
And it was the fastest car I'd ever been in at the time.
Yeah, that was also, to be fair, then I was like 400. It was probably 450, say that sort of boot. I was like, well, probably not actually, probably 420-ish.
But it had a screamer out the bottom.
Screamer out the bottom. Oh yeah, that was it. It's to fix the poor boost control. I put external gate onto the exhaust housing, didn't I?
On a stock manifold.
Yeah, exhaust housing, the turbo, then straight out the bonnet. Yeah.
So all this time you're basically learning through the S13.
Yeah, learning from my own mistakes, really. Yeah.
And you're learning what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
So when did you? We'll let you carry on the story, but when did you start tuning at that point as well? Or did you start tuning later?
No, it was later on. When I had the 32.
About it.
Yeah, I always wanted to do it. I was always super keen, and whenever I was out with allegedly the best tuner in the UK, I'd always be like, I actually got on with him really well at the time. We'd always
people get on him for a brief window.
For a very brief period. I'd always be talking to him, like we'd have, I don't know, say intellectual conversations about what was going on kind of thing, and I was always interested in
always
it.
Hungry for knowledge.
Yeah, and then it was only then when I fell out with the UK's best tuner and then started...
That's a rare phenomenon.
And then started talking to Tom Hudson, who then tuned my 32. I don't know if you remember when he tuned it. And did you?
Formerly of Hudson's Speed Shop
Speed
and
Shop.
Fensport.
Yeah.
Now just sort of privately does a bit here and there if you need.
And of Jim.
Yeah, and Jim. And
Jim?
lost 40.
Oh, the Jim, yeah.
He's had half the man he is.
I was thinking, who the fuck is Jim?
I don't know, but Tom really likes it.
He does. He loves Jim, yeah. He does.
Jim.
He loves the gym.
He's my idol at the minute. He's my goal.
But yeah, then he tuned my car. And it was actually, I then had some issues. I can't remember what it was. I think it turned out to be the intercooler that was on it was shit or something. I can't remember.
Really high
Yeah,
ATs.
real high ATs. And I was trying to figure out what was going on and it was causing something else. I can't remember now. It was so long ago. That I was then logging stuff and he was like, well, just try this. He was like, you might as well try it, then you'll learn more. I was like, all right. And then before I knew it, then there was something really, actually, I remember what it was. It was the internal map sensor on the link had died. So I had to wire in an external one and then it fixed all the issues that I remember now. And it destroyed the tune. And
Of course, yeah, because it was calibrated.
Tom actually said to me, he was like, well, you fucking tune it. He was like, ignition table's done. He's like, all you got to do is get the boost and the fuel in, right? I was like, yeah, I can do that. So I did. And then that was fine. I probably used it like that for, I don't know, about a year after that, I suppose.
Can we talk about your first drift day in that car? That 32. For people that don't know, that 32, Jack, nut and bolt, ground up.
Full resto.
Built a sick street car. I'll find a photo and I'll put a photo in here.
That was to try and throw the police off.
Changed his identity.
New car.
Built an immaculate car. And
New VIN number.
we went to
Snetterton.
for the first day in it.
What drift days they were, though. They were the boy, weren't they?
Sick.
They were so good.
Jack's kind of idea of drifting is not second gear. It's about fucking sixth if he can get it in.
Yeah.
Like, fast as possible.
Flat out try and do a backy.
But this car was immaculate. Probably one of the nicest builds that was going on in the country at the time. Like, it genuinely was a...
Yeah, as a street car, probably.
For a street car.
Yeah, for a street
on
car.
Equips, black car, very cool. We did what? Half a day?
No, it wasn't even that. I reckon it was before lunch, well before lunch.
Yeah, 'cause I took someone to hospital.
Yeah.
Who was
And it kind of depends which way you look at it. Obviously, I spun. Doing an intro, I didn't even know there was someone behind me. I was just trying backies, I think, when I...
Yeah.
Into the
Because
hairpin. you
big,
were
big,
trying
big,
to-
long straight, isn't it? And you can give it a massive flick, like limit a fourth, and you can just huck it in real good. And
You touched the grass, I think.
yeah, something I
Spun
can't
you
remember.
onto the grass.
Little did I know that somebody was basically trying to door me, even though I was
In a land yacht.
Yeah, in a Sora, and he went through the car, didn't he?
The number plate.
Look, it'd been on the road a week,
Yeah.
or less than a week. I think it was about 6 days. It had
The
been on the
rear
road.
number plate touched the back of the...
Where the
front, as you
subframe
look
sort
in
of
the
goes,
boot
isn't it?
of where the spare wheel well was.
Yeah, like the back of the rear
Oh, it was a
subframe,
bad
wasn't
day. Everyone was very sad.
it? Yeah.
Especially Jack.
Yeah.
But then you drive it home, though.
I sent it back on track about 10 minutes later. I was almost fucked now. We might as well really drive some backies.
So just looking back at that, how the fuck did that not split the fuel tank?
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, fuck knows.
Anyway, it didn't.
Yeah,
but
it did cave it in. I did have to get another one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I think it was bent.
all of a sudden it was a 20-litre tank.
Yeah, it didn't split, but it was bent. Yeah.
But yeah, that was a cool car. But so you led on...
To be honest, though, it actually drove like shit, that car.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
did. You never
because back then as well, this was before like there was any steering lock options for R32s.
chassis.
Yeah, they just didn't exist. And Geos had only just come out for S chassis, which were on my S13, and I just transferred all the running gear out of the S13.
transferred S13 turrets into it.
Everything, the turrets, the whole lot. I put the whole car into the 32, and it just never drove right. It just didn't drive like an S chassis.
It always was... It had a 14 rear subframe as well.
There was so much rear grip when there, and
I don't think I've ever seen Jack do a drift day on brand new tyres.
No.
Jack is the king of part ones. 600 horsepower part ones will do me. And 17s. Jack's a 17s man.
17s are the boy.
FNR chassis. But that car would outpace cars on Westlakes at the time.
yeah, well, it
BDC
did have a lot of grip, so I still don't know
Well,
why it had so
17s.
much grip. I don't know what the fuck it
I
was
don't
all
think it
about.
must be something to do with the 14 subframe conversion.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that wasn't that common at the time either.
No, it wasn't. No, 'cause it had like them riser bushes in it, which people still use now, I think,
They
don't
do,
they?
yeah, but it wasn't a commonplace thing. But that car was so grippy. Like, you
Yeah.
were keeping up with cars that you shouldn't have been on 265 Westlakes,
Yeah.
on 225 40 17 part ones.
But then that car went in the bin because I bought, well, it didn't go in the bin, but
So
I bought an S15, not because I wanted to make an RBS 15 or anything. I just wanted a 15.
I remember that car at Rockingham.
Blue one, yeah.
Yeah, I
It
remember
was
that.
cheap as well.
Yeah, it was
an
the
SR car,
UK's
wasn't it?
cheapest import S15 at the time.
And
yeah,
it got some abuse.
It
inside.
actually broke heavily on the way home. It had modded knuckles, and
snapped
I drove it real careful all the way home. Got to the local street spot, and I was like, right, we're home now. I was like, let's send it flat out down the slip road, give it a flick, and the front wheel just fell off. I was like, oh dear.
It happens.
Yeah, you get that.
And I was like, this car was cheap for a reason. But once I got it all sorted and fixed, I think that was when I put Geos maybe on that. I can't. Nah, that had cut knuckles.
It also
It
had.
always had cut knuckles.
It also had a new front wheel. Well, I say new. Whatever used S14 wheel bearing Jack could find in his scrap pile about every 10 minutes. I've got a video on my phone that I found the other day, actually, of you grabbing the front wheel on that and going dunk, dunk, dunk.
Yeah.
And I mean, like moving it like 30 mil.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's time for another wheel bearing. Then we'll go out.
Back then, you couldn't source new wheel bearings. Now you just go on JDM Garage, buy a wheel bearing, and it turns up. You know what I mean? But back then, it was like, I've got to find another wheel bearing from somewhere.
You're master of making do with what you've got.
Yeah.
And building cool stuff with it as well.
But when I got that car, it was just stock SR, and it drove so well, that car. I loved it. Like, S15 is the best chassis, in my opinion. It's
with an SR.
to be fair, with an SR in it, it was good. It was
Come
good.
on to that because my S15 is Jack's S15.
Yes.
It is, yeah.
We'll come down. We'll all go full
We'll
circle.
come on to that.
Yeah. But yeah, I fucking loved that thing. And then I decided this is a better car than my 32. I was like, I'm getting rid of the 32.
For the effort you put into that 32, you never ever got
I
on.
never enjoyed it, no. So I was like, I ended up just using it as a road car in the end because I hated the way it drove.
Daily.
And I loved that 15 so much. And I was like, doesn't make RB noises though, does it? I was like, let's pull that motor out of the 32.
Well, you got a forged motor, didn't you? You sourced the forged motor.
Yeah, so chucked that in there. And
In fact,
to be honest, that was a great car. I absolutely loved that.
the forged motor was in the 32.
Yeah, it was in the 32, yeah.
Me and you swapped it in a night, didn't we?
Into
Remember that? We did
the
24 hour.
yeah. And then I took that.
Acquired cheaply.
Yeah, it was a good discount price.
It was, yeah. And then I took that to Rockingham, RB'd for the first time, and it fucking flew.
Yes, it did.
It was good.
Yeah. I think that might have been one of the first times I introduced you to Jack at Rockingham.
Well, I remember going to Rockingham. I remember driving at Rockingham when Jack had the blue 15.
Oh,
remember-
yeah, and you took the white.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't know what wheels they are, but
Yeah, there's a
two
picture in the
wheels.
pits.
Yeah, there
my
was two-
30, 'cause I took the 32 and the
That's
15, and that was the day I decided the 15 is dead. The 32 is
That's
dead.
it.
Yeah.
Because I took my 15, which was Jack's 15, but we cambered in the rear wheels to get it to fit, but forgot to adjust the toe.
We put
So we
18
had,
by
like-
12s on the back of a 15.
You used to be king of stance, though, didn't you?
nearly stock arches on it.
Yeah.
And we had to do some work to get those on.
Drove terribly. But anyway, this is about Jack.
You've learned since then, though.
Well, I learnt. We went RB, and then I unlearned.
I meant more about our wheel fitment, and
Yeah.
it has to be usable.
I'm learning if anyone would like to buy my splits.
We haven't mentioned it.
Exactly. We're 20 minutes in. I've got to shoehorn it into.
So, S15 was SR, loved it, but didn't like the engine because it didn't make RB noises, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
So put this forged RB in it. I remember going to Teesside with you and Ross.
Yeah.
7 days.
So coincidentally,
that.
first customer's car that I ever fully tuned
Was it what Ross
was Ross's. Yeah,
That's that
I say
great.
customer's car was my best friend at the time, so not really a customer, but he bought that car already RB swapped, and it was a pile of shit. I was
was
like,
rough, that
it
car,
was so rough. Like even I don't know if people know what an F3 connector is. You know, like the funny dash plug on like an S chassis. Instead of making a nice loom, they literally just cut it and just like. I don't even know how they joined it. It was just like all fucking Scotch locks and shit.
Ross was really excited to buy that car.
And I was like, Ross, why did you buy this? I was like, this is bad. And it wouldn't run, probably was on stock ECU at the time, wouldn't run properly or anything. Then the story behind that is I was like, let's put a link on it and get it tuned and that kind of thing. And at this point, I was already semi-competent with the ECUs. So I put it on, got it running for him and all that kind of thing. And then it went off to somebody else to be tuned. Allegedly the best tuner in the world. And it had a very minor boost problem that it would come on boost and it would the boost curve would be good, but then it would have no boost on the next pull or something. I can't remember what it was. And what was happening was the internal gate flap on the external, I'm going to get my words all muddled up. The internal, wastegate flap was coming open and the rod was going over centre. A bit like steering goes over centre and it couldn't come back again. So the car came back to me and I actually, at the time, we just made a little stop for it so it couldn't go too far.
Yeah.
And then I was like, we need to get it back for tuning. We're at Teesside at the weekend. Like, this is going to take the whole 10 minutes. Like, it's mostly tuned because the boost and everything was all fine. And then, but it was being a pain in the arse, obviously.
Just wasn't consistent.
Wasn't consistent. So anyway, I was like, real quick job, let's get this finished. And it was just like, nah, fuck off kind of thing. And Ross was stressing, obviously, as you can imagine. And it got to, I think it was the night before we were meant to go.
Hold my laptop.
And I was like, I reckon I can tune this, Ross. I was like, let's go to the pharmacy, make a ghetto stethoscope with a bit of fucking copper. You must have seen like ghetto deck cans. I was like, let's go rig some of these up. At this point, I'd never...
Go to the pharmacy.
Yeah, stethoscope.
Start of a good story.
Yeah. Stethoscope, hard, like a nice bit of rigid, like a bit like hose pipe you'd use. And you'd put it onto a bit of copper pipe, crush the copper, so you can then bolt it to an engine, and you've made some deck can. I'd never really sort of...
£3.50.
I knew what knock sounded like, but I'd never had it to the point where if I don't hear this, I'm about to melt this.
Yeah, how scared were you when you said, "Oh"?
Very. Even probably for, I don't know, probably the first year of tuning, I was terrified of ignition timing.
Scared to blow everything up.
Yeah. But anywho, went out, we tuned it. I just sort of kept pressing page up, thinking, I can't hear any deck yet. I mean, it's getting faster, but...
I don't think I can.
Yeah. And it got to the point where obviously Ross was driving it, I was tuning it, and he was like, mate, this is fucking quick. Like, and he was like, that'll do. Like, we don't need any more. That'll get me going. Went to Drift Day. It was mint, perfect all weekend.
That's a sick weekend.
Yeah, I
Street drove you.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
We all did.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we got to Leeds and Jack had found a Ferrari F430. I remember this.
Fuck, I don't remember this.
Yeah, you... I think your partner at the time had her feet... I think it was Jade.
It was
She had her
Jade,
feet
yeah.
out of the window. And we were on the...
Oh, I think I do remember
You had
this,
a trailer on, your S15.
Yeah.
And there was a 430 come round you.
A yellow.
And I was behind you and Ross was behind me.
Yeah.
And then we come around the bend and you were gone.
Yeah.
You were fucking
In hot pursuit.
I did used to like racing anything that thought it was fast. I was like, we're going to show you who the boys are.
I remember doing the same thing with you. For my 18th birthday, Jack took me out street drifting for the night, allegedly. And we went far away to Mexico, not Essex. And on the way back...
Oh, Essex, they were the days.
Like, it was dickhead o'clock, because you don't do this in the day. And we were racing Allegedly racing an RS6, I think.
Fuck, I don't remember.
Up the A11. Allegedly. And I was half asleep, and then I just heard wastegate and was like, fuck, we're off. Off we go. And we went like second, third, fourth, got to 70 miles an hour, and then silence. And Jack went, oh no. And it popped the fuel pump fuse.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. I do remember that, yeah.
We don't need...
Just casually rolled into a fucking, I don't know, lay-by or something.
Jack was like, what do you think we can do without for the rest of the journey home? I was like, definitely number plate light. No, not a big enough fuse. Pick again.
Oh, yeah, I remember going through the fuse box looking for something big enough that we didn't need, yeah.
A nail.
And then we got to the stag roundabout and a fox ran out in front of us and nearly killed us again.
Yeah, I do remember that.
That was terrible.
I do remember.
So always exciting with Jack.
Yeah, there's always some, well, not so much anymore. Well, stuff still does happen, but not like that.
No.
Calm down a bit since then.
These were the younger days.
Yeah.
More naive days.
Yeah.
Good days though.
They were good. They were.
We had some exciting times. Also, allegedly running away from another officer of the law that night as well. But that was when street drifting in this country was a thing.
It was, and to be fair, you look back at it now and you think, fuck, there was just no police around. And there was no cars on the road. Like, if you went out at 2 o'clock in the morning, you didn't see anyone.
No, and those nights were semi-organised as well. So there'd be like, 15, 20 drift cars out?
Yeah, and half the time we'd take a van with us. It was full of wheels and tyres and fucking jacks and all sorts of shit. And
spares.
So you got enough tyres to get you through the night and that kind of thing. Yeah, it was good.
Crazy time. You could not get away with it now,
you'd be absolutely fucked.
In that area.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, you'd be fucked. Yeah.
So we did Teesside, you did S15 RB stuff. You took me out in that car, and that's what sold me on the RB swap for my car, actually. Because I thought it was ridiculously fast. And then did you sell that car?
The 15, yeah, I sold it 7 days. They raffled it off.
Yeah, so for people that don't know, Ross
started with that.
Oh yeah, Ross, whose S15 it was that was the first one I tuned. Then he now owns 7 Days Performance, a raffle company, and he'd always pestered me to raffle the S15. And at the time, so when that happened was sort of when Rockingham closed down, and that was the only drift event I was doing every year.
Because it was fast.
Yeah. You just hang on the oval and limit a fifth. It was wicked.
We had some good times.
And then when that closed down, I was just like, I don't need this car anymore. And I was so involved with mainly my business at the time as well, I just didn't really use it, to be honest. And I just thought, I might as well get rid of it. So I actually kind of broke it for parts. I took all the good stuff out of it, sold everything, sold the motor, sold,
The motor sat over there and another S15.
Sold everything off it that was worth any money, and I put a stock 25 in it. Still had a link on it and stuff, but it was just stock turbo tuned kind of thing. And then, sold it 7 days. They raffled it off, and it actually went to Ireland, I think. I'd love to know where that car is now.
Yeah, that was a cool car.
Yeah, if anyone knows where that car is, I doubt they would, but I think the number plate on that was like V420 FTN, I think I'm going to say it was.
It was.
Yeah, I think it was. Something like that.
How many 15s have you got at the minute?
I don't know. 15s, only 2. Got 2.
So you need a third, do you?
No, I don't want it. I don't want that car. No, I don't want the car. I'd just like to know who's got it. Yeah. The guy loved it who won it. He messaged me and he was like, I think I've got your old car. I was like, it's a good car, that. It's got very bent sill, but it's a good car. I can remember one night, you know how you get like those, on a roundabout, sometimes the 2 lanes split and then you've got almost like a little triangle curb kind of thing. I come up to it one night and I was like, I can put a backy into that. I'd never been to this roundabout in my life. I was just coming up to it and I was like, fucking hell, look at this bend. I was like, yeah, perfect backy entry into a fucking roundabout. Come flying into it. I was like, oh no, where'd that curb come from? The next minute I was just on top of it. Obviously the sill that went up it was just folded and I was like, oh dear.
That's broken.
Other than that, it was a great car.
So pivoting a little bit into the business, was this, at this point when you sold the 15, was this when you started taking on some of the bigger full builds like Darren Wiles's?
Yeah, it was, around about then, yeah, I think so.
So you kind of pivoted into ground up builds at that point?
Yeah, I think that's what I was mainly doing was big builds, and then I was tuning them at the end of it. That's sort of what I was doing. I didn't really have customers just come to me just for tuning at the time. It was, I'm building your car, and
I think you bought a dyno during the process of building Darren's car.
Yeah, well, I tuned Darren's on Tom's dyno. Tom Hudson. I can't remember what we were talking about. We were talking about him for a little while, and we sort of lost flow with that. I can't remember why we were talking about him.
Because he gave you the opportunity to...
he told me to get on with it and that kind of thing. So yeah, what I kind of glossed over there was, say, like Ross's car as well. After we tuned on the road, I actually took it to Tom's, put it on the dyno, and was like, right, so I could actually see what it was doing. And then from there on, Tom was just like, any car you want to tune, he was like, just pay me to hire the dyno and crack on.
Is that why you've still got that relationship now then?
I guess so, yeah. I like... Especially like when you look at it, like I would actually say the tuning world is pretty toxic.
Well,
this is something we wanted to
discuss this, and also I had a message just before we came tonight from someone saying, why is it that way?
I don't really know, to be honest. But Tom was nothing like that at all. You know, for somebody that's running a tuning company to say, come and learn on my dyno so you can do it too, is like, who does that? Well, I say not say who does that. More people should do stuff like that because
Can I book in then? I'd love to learn.
I didn't take any work off him. Do you know what I mean? Any of his customers were still his customers, kind of thing. And there's, so how many cars in the country need tuning? Like, there's plenty of cars for everyone to tune. Like, I've never sat around and gone, what am I going to tune tomorrow? Like,
you normally got.
I'm normally like, sorry, I can't tune your car. I haven't got time, kind of thing. And
I can book you in. It will be September next year.
Yeah. So I don't really understand the whole, I don't know, like slagging everyone off kind of thing, because like I say, there's enough to go around, isn't there? Like, yeah, fair enough. There is a lot of tuners out there that a lot of them do a terrible job sometimes, and that can't be avoided. But that's no different to getting a plumber come to your house and they do a bad job. It doesn't mean that other plumbers should exist, does it? Like,
so whilst we're on this, kind of most tuners, certainly in this country, will allude that tuning is some sort of black art.
Yeah,
is witchcraft and magic and spells, and only they can do it. Do you?
It's definitely.
Is it? It's not probably for the average man, I agree, but is it a reasonably learnable?
100%. It's a science. at the end of the day. You're
It's a matter way.
you're just making something work the way it should work. Realistically, if you get two competent tuners, they should end up with pretty much the same thing at the end of it. Or, like, the tune should be relatively the same, because otherwise the car won't work. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and yes, definitely anyone can learn it as long as you've got the correct attitude towards it. I would say, and like you've got the correct mindset to be able to do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I couldn't, just pull somebody off the street and you probably could if, to be fair, teach them how to tune, but there's certain people that would struggle with it. Don't get me wrong, but it all depends what sort of mind you've got on you, I guess, doesn't it? But
would you call it on a basic level, kind of the hunt for efficiency?
that's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's exactly what it is. Yeah, yeah.
So there isn't.
Yeah, or you think, say you tune something in a modelled fuel equation, you're literally tuning the fuel table in its volumetric efficiency. So it's you are tuning it to how efficient the engine is, kind of thing. So I don't know if you know too much about that, but there's two different ways you could tune a fuel model. So you can do it in a modelled setup where the fuel table's in volumetric efficiency, or the old school way is, I guess you call it traditional, which is injector timing.
So it will squirt
this much at this. Yeah, exactly. But the newer way to do it is a modelled fuel equation. And what you're doing is tuning how efficient the engine is at that RPM and boost, say, for example. So at that specific point, you might say you're at 100% efficiency. It's burning all of the fuel in that combustion chamber at that time. And the engine's never going to change. That engine is always going to be that efficient at that spot, kind of thing. So say you then chuck a different set of injectors in it. You just change all them parameters in the ECU. You do a pull, the engine's still as efficient at that same spot. You do a pull, fuel engine stay the same.
There you go.
So that's why people tune like that nowadays, kind of thing. Admittedly, don't get me wrong, nothing's perfect. So yeah, I say it should stay the same.
Wear and tear.
You might have little tweaks here and there, but say your car was a good example of that. So obviously tuned in the same way so you can have flex fuel. And it was a little bit harder to tune yours, obviously, because we were flexing methanol in a way that it's not really meant to be flexed. And I had to learn.
I had several people saying, "How the fucking hell has he done that?"
So I had to learn a lot of things like.
Say it can't be done, including one of the. Oh no, different mapper in the UK, but said it's not possible.
Different tuner, but I had to learn about. So when you do stuff like that, you input data of, say, like.
To interject before Jack explains, what we'd done is we'd fitted a methanol
flex fuel sensor.
Ethanol flex fuel sensor to run methanol. But ethanol and methanol are different fuels.
Yeah, but they're both alcohol fuels. So all a ethanol sensor is looking for is the alcohol content in the fuel, effectively. But it still reads with the methanol. Obviously, it's reading how much alcohol is in the fuel, but it's not quite right. So you then have to figure out a load of data yourself. It took a little bit of doing to get it perfect, but then say, like what I was saying about the efficiency thing, the engine is still that efficient. You get that data right, you do a pull, the tuner's still correct. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. So then if you've got it right, you can then, we were running yours at like, 35% methanol, something like that? 35%. So then say you bring that down to 20%, I don't have to touch the tune. I did another pull and the fueling was perfect. So
the computer fills in the difference.
So if you do get it right, like I say, sometimes there's things aren't all perfect, but if you do get it right, it is perfect. As simple as that. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Excellent knowledge from the UK's second best tuner. But going back from you and Jay's garage to, and obviously your tuning, you're booked 3 months in advance, give or take?
Yeah, normally 3 months. So like what we were saying about how I started off doing builds and that kind of thing, once then more people realised, hey, he's tuning cars, because obviously they'd see that I've tuned the car at the end of it. Somebody would go, oh, can you tune this? Can you tune this? And then it turned into just tuning jobs as well, which, as you can imagine, it's only me that works here. Yeah. Trying to build cars and keep up with everyone that wants their cars tuning, it just doesn't work very well.
Where you pivoted away from builds.
Yeah, so then I sort of stepped away from the builds so much. And to be honest, I'm still trying to get away from them, but they're still creeping through the door every now and then.
Just needs a tune.
Just needs a tune. Josh Goddard's car is a perfect example. He actually said to me earlier, he was like, just needs a tune, right? Because I was telling him about a problem with it that is something, I'm assuming it's something that he's done. And I was like, fuck, I've now got to figure this problem out. And he was like, that's all right, just needs tuning, obviously joking. Yeah. But then that turns into loads more work. But
Jack's favourite phrase is just needs a tune.
That's what everyone says. This guy, Lawrence, he said, oh, can you get my 32 in? Because this car's actually, it's actually on eBay at the minute.
What's it?
£60,000 if anyone wants it.
Wow.
And he said, oh, can you just put a link on it and tune it for me? That's all it needs. It's a working car kind of thing. Oh boy, it does not. But then it's here by that point, you've got to do it. But admittedly, he's, you know, a customer that brings me lots of cars. Like, I have no problem doing it for him, but...
what is it? It's an R32 GTR.
It's 32 GTR. It's still 2.6, I believe.
Is it a built motor?
Yeah. World's laggiest turbo setup.
So Jack did a before pull to see, because the car was claimed at
It's
what power?
in Japan. They said it was 812 PS.
Built by John.
Yeah, built by Jen. But PS was what? That's probably like 790 or something. I don't know. But you'll love the turbo, the ECU setup that was in this.
The ECU setup in this was spectacular.
So it had an F-con in it, piggybacked into a Power SC. Oh, well, that's something.
They really wanted an ECU in it, so they put two.
But yeah, then Lauren said, "Oh, just do a before pull on it. I'd like to know what power it is now." Because, you know, he drove it. It was a running, driving car kind of thing. Allegedly claimed 800 horsepower-ish. And I was gobsmacked when I done the pull on it.
He sent me a photo of this dyno graph yesterday, and I genuinely laughed out loud.
Yeah, so it was making 1.5 bar a boost, and it made peak torque at 7,000, I think it was 7,240 RPM.
So that's its max torque.
That's when it came on boost. So it came on, but as it obviously it comes on boost, and then as it made full boost, it's obviously hitting peak torque.
It was like completely
So-
flat, vertical, and then like
Yeah.
2 mil of.
It was
on boost
literally
and then
like,
gear change.
we should have put it on the screen. I don't even remember what it was. It was probably like 200 horsepower, then it was like 6.
Spectacular.
And yeah, not 800 horsepower, 600 horsepower.
So that's currently in for some tweaks.
Improvements.
Yeah,
To be fair, as we were saying earlier, it's a very 90s drag build.
it is, yeah.
Old
yeah.
tech.
People love it though. They do love the
Nostalgia.
90s, not
It is
the
really cool.
nostalgia, yeah.
But it would be better with some different turbos. and
It would.
It'd be better if it made power before the limiter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, obviously, as you can imagine, it's going to have to be revved to... Really, it wants to be revved at 10, doesn't it? I mean, I'm not sure I want to do that on stock crank and stuff. It's
And
still
an unknown
it's
sort
got a
of engine.
shimmed head in it and stuff. Like, I don't know. I said to Lawrence, I was like, well, I'm going to rev to 9 to start off with and see what
Fingers crossed.
it does. Yeah, but
Let's hope
is what it is, that one.
Let's hope the engine build was more reliable than the claimed horsepower figure.
Yeah, you can hope so.
It'll be. But going back into it, so you're starting to take on work. You did Darren Wiles's. If you don't know, Darren Wiles's car. Darren's
Paraplegic.
Paraplegic, and it was a full competition spec PS13 on hand controls with an air shifter, LS sequential.
Yeah, so it was LS3 e-throttle engine, so a
Crate motor,
factory e-throttle crate motor, yeah. And then it had Samsona sequential, windless quick change in the back. Then it had an MME Motorsport air shift kit, which ran on, that's a lie, it had an air clutch kit in it. Then it had an electronic actuator that connected to the shifter. So the electronic shifter would basically push the stick forward and back. Still had the stick, but you could literally press a button and watch the stick go forward, press another button, watch it go back kind of thing. And then we built a custom hydro. I don't know if you remember the hydro in it. You could push it forward for front brakes, backwards for back brakes. It had a jet ski throttle on it, which I actually ran a cable on, because obviously there's a jet ski's a cable throttle. That ran a cable to a LS electronic throttle pedal. I don't actually know what the throttle pedals are from. It just came with the crate motor. So that went to the electronic throttle, basically like it was pulling the pedal. And then it had a button on the top for clutch kick. And then it had a button. So imagine your fingers are here to rev it. It then had a button, I think it was like a button here, and here for up and down shift, I think it was. And then anyone that's got a sequential in a drift car knows that they don't like to be flat shifted whilst the wheels are spinning because it struggles to unload the dogs. So that was then a challenge, but because it had the air shift kit in it, that's a lie again, because it had the air clutch air clutch system in it, I I could time it all. So as you hit the button for upshift, it had already disengaged the clutch, pulled the gear, released it all and gone back into it. And you could literally hold it flat out and just press upshift and it would go up a gear, flat out, full wheel spin and everything. There's no car that can realistically do that other than that one, because it had the air system.
It still had
pedals,
system. It
yeah.
could be driven.
Yeah, so it had a button on the, had a CarTech PDM in it, and it had a button on there that said legs or no legs. So you press that button and it swapped the throttles around. It turned the other that throttle off, put it down to that throttle, which also turned the air system off, and it automatically changed it all to make the pedals work.
I didn't know that.
Neither did Darren. No, I just done it. I just put a little label on it that said legs, no legs, and then he got it. He was like, "That's fucking brilliant."
Darren also at the time, his race van that he used to use had the number plate crippled, so Darren doesn't take himself too seriously.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
But I would say at the time I was working for BDC a lot, and I obviously knew you as well, friends with you. So I sort of. People heard that Darren was building a car because he had an automatic S13 before that kind of didn't really work for him, to be honest.
Yeah, well, drifting like a Bogo Auto gearbox is going to be pretty hard.
Yeah,
I've never really tried it, but I can imagine it's tricky.
Darren did a good job with it.
Yeah, he did plenty good.
But it didn't work in competition, which is what Darren was trying to do at the time. Sort of heard a rumour that Darren was building, or people heard a rumour that Darren was building a new car and sort of, oh, that's interesting. And then this car kind of was finished and I think that's when everyone was like, who the built that? Like, that's sick.
Yeah.
Because you really figured out a lot of things on that.
Something else I didn't mention about the air system is to pull away, because it's a full manual car, there's nothing auto about it. Yeah. It had a paddle on the steering wheel that so you'd hold the steering wheel like so, where you'd have that one on the hydro, and you'd press the paddle with your thumb. So you'd push all the way in, and there was the clutch, which was with the air clutch system. So then you'd slowly release it, and you'd find the biting point, and you could just pull away like a normal car kind of thing.
Yeah. Which to figure all that out is pretty insane, to be honest with you.
It took a bit of work. Start off with, I can remember we went to a test day at Rockingham, actually, on the pads that they have at the top. And he was really struggling to pull away on this paddle. And to be fair, I had to go at it, and I was struggling with it as well. It was really harsh, and that took quite a few tweaks to get that perfect. But by the end of it, you could have hopped in it, and I could have said, Callum, go move that car. The clutch is on the steering wheel, and you could have pulled away.
Was it almost like electronic throttle pedal mapping? Like
a bit like that, yeah.
The clutch.
Yeah, a bit like that. Yeah, very similar.
When was that? When did you build that car?
Fuck, I don't know. Nah.
8-10 years ago?
Yeah, it was probably about 10 years ago, I should think.
It's a while ago now.
Yeah, it was a long time
ago. How many
ago.
paraplegic drift cars had you built before this?
None.
No.
And I've built no more.
It's a niche market, we'll give you that.
Yeah, I've had people ask me, to be fair. I had somebody else say, oh, you don't know me, but I'm paraplegic, and I saw Darren's car and I'd like you to build me one. I think it was an E36 or something, and I said I just haven't got the time to do it again. Which is a shame, because I was kind of wanted to help him out. And I did say to him, you can take that anywhere and get the sort of fat of the build done, which is what I haven't got time to do. And then
bring me
I'll make it work if you want. But I don't know if he's built something now or what. I don't know.
But I think that certainly in the wider audience put you on the map, that car.
Yeah, a lot of people saw that car and were like, "Holy shit!"
It did rip. To be fair,
yeah, it did.
I think it made like 520 horsepower. I think it made, which NA with instant torque was.
Yeah, it worked.
Was a handful.
You wouldn't know that car was on hand controls. It didn't look like it, and it didn't perform or act like it.
Yeah.
I saw you drive it on a track day on the hand controls.
I've driven it, I drove loads on hand controls, and I could drive on hand controls exactly as good as I could on pedals. It was no different. Yeah.
Which is quite a
to be honest, it was actually kind of nice to drive on hand controls sometimes, because you had everything there. It was almost like lazy to a point, because you could just keep one hand on the wheel, one hand there, just chilling with your legs, not doing anything. It was just like
little side story. When I bought my house, I borrowed a van off Jack, and Jack had bought the van off Darren.
Yeah, hand controls in it.
I said, Jack, can I borrow your van? I need to move house. He's like, yeah, no worries, mate. Like, help yourself. And then I turned up to pick it up the morning I'm moving house. So
stressful,
somewhat stressed. And I jumped in it and I was like, Jack, what's going on in here? He's like, oh, it's on hand control. Jack, I've had this van like 8 months. He's like, yeah, it's just lazy, innit? It's easy.
It was, because that had like a lever that you pulled for the throttle, and you could just hold it there and you're just cruising along. It was just like, It was like it had cruise control, wasn't it?
It was quite good.
Yeah.
But the best bit of that story was when I got back, he went, "That's not taxed." I was like, "Oh, cheers, mate. I'm really glad. I'm glad."
I don't want to tell you beforehand because then you'll panic.
Well, exactly. I didn't panic, to be fair.
One thing about Jack, I will just say, is all the stuff you think, oh, I don't know if I'm going to get away with this, like the driving an untaxed car or whatever.
I'm sure it's by accident, obviously.
Obviously.
I or any other normal human being would get away with this. I wouldn't get away with this. Jack, however, Jack will get away with pretty much anything when it comes to himself. I mean,
You'd be surprised though. I think
you've got away with a lot. You had one incident. You had one incident, in fairness, where you did get a little bit told off.
Yeah.
But,
there was actually another one after that as well. Yeah.
It wasn't long after
It was in the blue S15. I'd only just got it. And like I say, stock SR, it's a stock East unit, it had Japanese speed limiter in it. I was actually on the way to pick my girlfriend up one night. It was quite late at night, and I was just sat on the A11 on the way to go get, and I was just sat there at 114 mile an hour, just ba 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 on the speed limit. I was like, "Fucking hell, this is boring." Allegedly, and well, it doesn't matter. I got caught, so it
wasn't allegedly at all.
Not allegedly at all. I was just, like I said, I was sat there on the speed limit, and I was like, "Fuck, hell, this is boring." There's no cars about whatsoever, and went past the slip road, and I thought, there's not going to be anyone on it. Like, I just didn't bat an eyelid. I mean, this was probably 1, 2 in the morning kind of thing. And sneaky fucker, actually. I was still just cruising along on the speed limit. No one behind me, nothing. And then all of a sudden, the whole world was behind me. Blues and fucking every. I thought, where the fuck did he come from? And he was chasing me with no lights.
Naughty boy.
Yeah.
He was doing bad things.
Yeah.
Too.
And he literally just all of a sudden turned his headlights on and his blue lights on.
No lights at all?
No lights. He was up my arse with no lights. Yeah. And I was like, you fucking arsehole. And yeah, he pulled me over.
You again.
And yeah, he did nick me for it. And I was like, I am so screwed because I've got 8 points on my licence. And obviously, yeah, I went to court.
But speaking of taking gambles and
then paying off,
Jack. I remember Jack was building Darren's car at the time, was mainly into builds and was getting into tuning, but may or may not have been road tuning some stuff when he could get away with it at the speed limit and when traffic wasn't too bad. And was like, I came here one day to see him. He's like, I've just bought a dyno. And I was like, all right. He's like, look at it, and showed me the eBay listing, and it was like a Nokia 3310 took a photo.
It was rogue, wasn't it?
From the other side of the room. And he was like, it's in Spain. He's like, but it's like a third of the price it should be. So I've paid for it on a credit card and we'll see if it turns up.
Yeah.
Now, any normal person would have been scammed out of a significant amount of money.
But it turned up.
As a dyno turned up.
A week later, a dyno turned up.
Yeah, that was a good purchase.
You've had that dyno.
Yeah, I still do have it. It's next door at the minute.
2 months ago.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, still got it. Yeah.
In regular action. It's built your business, basically.
It has, yeah.
Most people.
And it's never needed anything. It's literally been faults the whole time.
It computer when you first got it, wasn't it? Because the computer was like Windows.
Yeah, so when it turned up, no, it's still the same computer and everything. Nothing's changed. Yeah, so when it turned up, I didn't really know anything about dynos at the time. I'd just been on Tom's and he was like, press up and it'll do a run. And I was like, okay, cool. And when that turned up, obviously I had to set it all up and that kind of thing.
That was shady.
What I didn't know is they don't like moisture at all. Like they really do not like moisture. And this dyno had been sat in this back of this guy's workshop for years, kind of thing, and he hadn't used it. He used to be a tuner in the UK. He moved to Spain, took it with him, and was like, "There's no market for it here," and it just sat there. And then he sold it. And when it turned up, I set it all up, that kind of thing, powered it on, obviously just playing with the computer and that kind of thing, and then smoke just started pouring out of the main board of it. I was like, "Oh no, this hasn't paid off."
My gamble.
And there's a guy who owns Dyno Developments, which is who Tom's dyno was, used to work for Dyno Dynamics. And I said to him, "This has happened to my dyno. You wouldn't know what it is, would you?" He was like, "I'll send me a picture of the board," and there was a little diode had burnt out in it. And he was like, "Oh, that normally happens if they get moisture in the retarder, and then you don't dry it out before you power it up." I was like, "What do you mean dry it out before I power it up?" He's like, "Well, what you should do is put a car on it, strap it all down, even just roll it to get any big moisture out of it, and then turn the computer on and put it at full load and just hold it at full load, because then the retarder gets hot and all the moisture evaporates before any damage is done." But I'd left it switched on for about an hour. Just playing with it. And then all this moisture burnt the diode out. And at this point, because I'd got a broken dyno, the guy had actually refunded me or agreed to refund me some money for it to get it fixed. And it turned out to be a 10p diode that I just soldered in. And sold it in, powered, I'd done what he said, put a car on it. It was actually Kieran's 350Z. No, it was still 350Z at this point. Chucked that on there, dried it all out, and yeah, it was sweet. And I think he knocked like $2,500 off it for this 10p diode.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh, you actually got the
yeah. He was like, "Well, I'm gonna have to send you a significant amount." He was like, "You shouldn't have." He was like, "Yeah, the part might have been cheap." He was like, "But that's not what you signed up for." I was like, "Okay, cool."
Sound dude.
Yeah, he was a sound dude. I still follow him on Instagram. Actually, he's a sound dude.
I remember at the time as
He's
well.
he's an influencer now.
Is he?
Weirdly,
A bit like us.
Yeah.
I remember at the time as well. The money you paid for it. I think you paid like.
Yeah, I think it was
saying about 6, wasn't it? 6 or
No, I think it was 12,
was it?
then I got the 2 off it. Yeah.
But it was
so
all the
12.
money in the world you had, wasn't it?
Yeah, back
Like,
then
you
it
were
was. Yeah,
terrified when you bought that.
yeah, it was a big thing, especially because I could use Tom's dyno anyway. I was like, fuck.
It was a big gamble, wasn't it?
And at the time, I'm like, well, if I tune this many cars, it will pay it off. And then you think, how many runs that dyno's done? I do not know.
And like I say, at the time, you were just getting into the tuning where you weren't flat out full-time tuning.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It was even more of a gamble.
Yeah, but it got to the point where it was inconvenient going to Tom's all the time. Admittedly, it was only an hour and a half down the road, but
that's a long time. That's 3
especially if you got there and there was a problem with the car you were tuning as well. And it
Which
was
doesn't happen very often, does it?
No, I didn't have it. Oh, yeah, it does. But to be fair, back then, it was a lot of the cars I was building, I was taking there. So I'd already been through them. I'd already been on the road, put a base map on it, got it working and that kind of thing, and then I would go to Tom's with it. But
so then following that, you pivoted into sort of full-time tuning, didn't you?
Yeah. So now also I just try to do mostly just tuning and wiring. But
there you go. There's the full back.
There's the full story.
Just 40
and now we have a hub dyno. So
yeah, that's a big upgrade.
That came last week.
No, not last week. Had it a few months now.
Oh, have you?
Yeah,
Fine.
but the cell has only been redone last week.
Sorry.
So I had obviously the rollers were in the floor and the hubs were in front of the rollers. And then the scissor lift, you probably can't see it, there's a scissor lift sunk into the floor. That was above the floor. So I got that, so I thought, I'll help putting stuff on the hub. And I was always going to keep the rollers as well and run them both at the same time. And ever since I got the hub, I'd never put a car back on the rollers because the hub was so good. And I was just like, I just keep tripping over this thing. I was like, I might as well sell it.
And also you can move the cars back a bit further.
Exactly. And what's also good is you can actually then push the hubs to the back of the workshop, back to the cell, and then you've got workshop with a lift in here.
Yeah.
It's like a whole nother space to work on cars. Pretty handy.
That's handy.
Yeah.
And you were saying there's a big difference between your roller dyno and your
Massive,
dyno.
yeah.
Between your unknown used.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, the rollers are still really good, but the main problem is when you sort of get over, I'd say the sort of 600 horsepower area, it starts to become a bit of a problem with traction and that kind of thing. With drift cars, with punchy turbos on them like yours, say, for example, they come on boost and just blow the tyres off. Yeah, stuff like GTRs and that kind of thing that aren't quite like that. Because you rev them higher and they're just a bit of a different animal. You're not trying to get them to break traction just like that all the
And I would
time.
assume there's more momentum in the rollers as well. So
Yeah.
Slip past them as easily.
But anyway, yeah, so that became a real problem day to day because 1,000 horsepower is the new 500 horsepower, isn't it?
Because the boy only tunes spicy cars.
He does now.
But you think, like, back when, I had a 500 horsepower car, if you had 500 horsepower, it was like serious
You were a big
stuff.
boy.
Yeah.
I remember at BDC, and there was like the best of the best guys had 500
Yeah.
horsepower.
Well, when I competed, I had 400 horsepower hybrid turbo,
There you
and
go.
it was competitive. So, yeah,
On part ones.
on part ones, yeah.
On whatever you found in
But
the
now
scale.
I don't know what BDC. Well, BDC doesn't exist, but whatever drift league. So I don't know what the cars are like in that now. But I should imagine they're all
Sequential winters,
fast, yeah.
800 horsepower and 265.
So I'd actually say I'm kind of not really in the drift scene anymore. I don't really see it all anymore. But obviously I know what goes on. But
you tune plenty of drift cars.
yeah,
And
not as many as I used to, though, to be honest.
which is probably arguably not a bad thing for you at times.
Not. I'd say mostly by choice is what I would say. They're very problematic cars a lot of the time, shall we say. Unless it's like someone like you or something where I know you're going to listen and be like, this is what we should build, and you're going to build it correctly, and it's going to work.
See, I'm the opposite of Callum. I listen to the people that tell me what to do, and I just say, how much is it?
Yeah.
Ouch. Okay. Yeah. And then it works.
Whereas I think through building your 32, you did the opposite of everything that I told you to do all of the time.
100% of the time. And then some other people had some input and I ignored them. And then 50 grand later, I had a car that was sort of functional.
It kind of worked, yeah.
Not quite 500 horsepower.
I think in my entire lifetime of that car, I did 1,200 miles in it and I had 4 sets of fuel lines in it.
Yeah.
And you told me to put AN lines on it in the first place. And I was
Yeah.
like, nah. What does Jack know? In fact, your first words were, don't fucking bother building that.
I did,
Save up and just buy
something that works.
Because they were about 3.5, 4 grand in the car.
And I still live by that rule, to be fair. Like, if you just want a car to go have fun in, say you wanted to get into drifting tomorrow, go buy a 350Z or something, just go drive the thing and modify it as you want to go.
Mine's the prime example of that. I spent 15 grand building mine, I just sold it for 7.
Right.
So,
Yeah. He's not learning, is he?
Someone else's loss is your gain in that world.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So going back, we've covered Jay's garage. Going back to your personal drift and car saga.
Should we call it a career?
Career. Saga's a
Were
bit
you pro BDC?
Yeah.
So a professional BDC driver.
pro BDC.
Bro.
So you
Still got the little car. Back when they used to give you licenses, do you remember that? Yeah.
I used to think they're so fucking cool.
Yeah, I can remember if you had one of them, you were the boy.
You were the boy. So you had S13, went into R32, wrote that off, didn't like it, sold it, went to S15, didn't like SR, went to God's Motor, raffled that via Ross at 7 days, and then did you do any? Is that it? Was that the end? Was that the end of your drifting?
Yeah, I actually
UK drifting.
I sold the S15 and stuff and tried to get every single penny I could because I wanted an R35 GTR at the time, which I still got to this day, and that's where every penny I could scrape together at the time just about got me one.
Right.
And that was it. I was done with drifting. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. The reason I bought the R35 was because I just wanted a nice daily that was also fun.
When did you do that? How long have you had?
Long time.
Probably had that best part.
About 8 years, I should think, yeah.
So you've had, bloody hell. That's gone quick. So you've not drifted in the UK for 8 years? Or had a drift car in the UK?
I think so.
Which brings us on to, Jack, how many cars do you have now?
Oh, I don't know, mate.
Would you like to list them?
No, I don't.
I'll go through some basics.
I've got a bit of a problem.
R32s.
Yeah.
How many you got?
So, there's actually still the older Bisu GTST outside.
We'll come back to Japan.
Still got that.
Japan.
GTRs is currently 5 of those 32 GTRs. But again, they're not like, although, I own them all. They're just some of them are to sell kind of thing.
I love that he's trying to justify it.
You think I'm bad at man.
So we've got 5 R32 GTRs.
Yeah, so one of them is for my friend Darren, though. Like, we know he's having that. He's just deciding which one he wants kind of thing.
Picking from the bunch. So
Jack's
bought 5, so he can pick again.
Yeah, so a container just landed and it had 3 of them in it.
We spoke about it in the last podcast.
Oh, did you? Yeah. We actually only unloaded it last week, and that was chaos. I'd never had a container full of cars turn up before, and obviously the container's still on the truck, way high. And you've got to get them out, and you've got 3 hours to do it, otherwise you get charged. Bear in mind, there was also 7 engines in there, and I don't know, a lot of parts.
It was stressful that morning.
Yeah, what we came up with was before I sunk the scissor into the floor, we used that to lift up. But
They use that, you ratchet strapped it to a Euro pallet.
Yeah.
on a telehandler.
Yeah, on a telehandler. And then we actually used the old dyno ramps from the rollers, because I still had them from when they used to be out of the ground, and we placed them on top of the scissor lift, which was the telehandler was lifting the ramps. It was real sketch. Maybe I'll send you a picture and you can insert a picture here. And then we had to lower the ramp and the telehandler all at the same time.
That sounds not even slightly stressful.
No, it was good. It was fun.
These R32 GTRs these days.
No, to be fair, they were actually pretty cheap. A couple of them were literally bought out of a scrap auction in Japan. Yeah.
So 5 R32 GTRs.
Yes.
33. You don't have any?
No, I don't have 33. I've got
34?
I've got 3 34s.
Okay.
You probably don't know about them ones.
How many 34 GTRs do you have?
Yeah, just one. Yeah.
One.
Only one. Yeah.
The rest,
You've
the
also
others are
got
GTT.
full carbon GTT.
Yeah, so the probably reason why I bought that is because everyone probably knows who Harlow Jap Autos are. I was down there one day, and I'd never been there before, and they were showing me around and stuff.
Mega looking place. I've
place.
never been,
But we weren't even in the showroom. We were at a second place they've got where they keep other stock, and we were there just to pick a car up. And I was looking around, and I was looking at all the corners because they literally had basically a scrap car in every corner of this workshop. And I was looking in the corners, everyone was looking at all the nice stuff, and I was like, what is that in the corner? I was like, what is that? And in the corner, I spotted it looked like JZX. I thought it was a JZX to start off with. It's an R34 headlight and a JZX headlight, but it had a mattress on top of it and a duvet or something. I couldn't really see what it was. I was like, what is that? Because I'd already tried to buy a 32 that was in the other corner and he wouldn't sell it to me. But it was, anything that might be cheap, I'm like, cool, yeah, I want it. The more broken it is, the more excited I am about it. For some reason, I need to stop that. But I saw this GTT in the corner and he was like, oh, it's R34 GTT. I was like, how much is that? He was like, oh, it's broken, you don't want it. I was like, no, that's perfect. And he was like, it'll be cheap. I was like, perfect. I was like, send me, he was like, I don't want to get it out now. He was like, send me pictures of it and that kind of thing. As soon as he sent me pictures of it, I was like, sold.
And wasn't that like the simplest fix as well?
It was smoking. So they'd put a new engine in it and fired it up for the first time. Fully built motor had never been run. They fired it up and it was smoking and misfiring as well. And what it turned out to be was just a broken coil back wire. And I fixed that and it ran on all 6 and it was still smoking. I chucked it on the dyno and basically kicked its head in for a bit and it stopped smoking. And I'm pretty sure that's pretty much fixed it. I'm pretty sure what happened as well, the coil pack wire had broken. It then ball washed the fresh engine, the rings didn't seat and then it smoked.
Yeah.
But it's still got a little bit of a smoking issue. If you leave it ticking over for ages and then stab the throttle, it'll smoke. And I think recipe it was sat for 9 years, I think, before I bought it. Yep. So I think the stem seal was maybe a bit brittle or something and it's dripping a stem seal. But again, it's going to be an easy fix. I don't go around to it.
So and another GTT on top of that, don't you? Well, you have 2 GTTs.
Yeah, but a lot of these are just bought to sell. So the first GTT was bought to sell. I do still own them.
Yeah. 34s to sell.
So then we've got we've got the R35.
Yeah.
Which is your daily.
Any other Skylines?
No other Skylines.
The one that's on the ramp?
That's one of the 32 GTRs, yeah.
Just to clarify, one of the 32 GTRs we glossed over is you're currently building to be like a track car?
Well, to be honest, I didn't actually know why I started building it. I just wanted a 32 GTR. At the time, I had no R32 GTRs.
Things have escalated.
This was only 3-4 years ago. And I was building a lot of spicy GTRs for people because I've sort of more got into GTRs than drift cars, to be honest. And
so there's more money in that market.
It's not that there's more money. They're just, I don't want to say they're nicer cars to work on. They're not. They're all the same, but it's just nice building nice road cars and stuff. I like building a nice car. Do you know what I mean? So I started driving a lot of fast GTRs and stuff, and I thought, fuck, I need one of these. I think it was when I built the first sort of 800-900 horsepower one. I was like, this is a riot. I was like, I've got to have one of these. So at the time, I didn't have enough money to just go buy a 32 GTR. They're a lot of money now, aren't they? Yeah. And
so is the man with 5.
Yeah, none of them owe me GTR money though. But also, if you go and spend 40 grand on a 32 GTR, it's not going to be fast. No. You might buy a nice stock one for 40 grand, which is outrageous, really.
And they are shit.
And it's shite. And I knew all I'm going to do is pull it down to a bare shell and start again. There's no point spending 40 grand to do that. And then a customer offered me his because he just crashed it. And I was like, perfect. I was like, we love broken stuff. And the story behind that is I actually paid 18 grand for it. He had spun it on a roundabout and gone into a lamppost, but the wheel had hit the lamppost, not the car. Broke the tension rod, so the wheel then went into the pillar and bent all around the door and the floor was all caved in. But I thought, easy fix. I was actually going to cut up the Abissu one to fix it. I didn't want to, but I was like, well, I've got the panels there to do it. Might as well.
And those panels are identical between GTST and
exactly. So that was the plan with that. And then I got it back, straight away sold the engine. Bear in mind, a complete 26 is worth, I think I sold that for 12 grand. So it had bigger turbos, injectors, all that sort of stuff. Outrageous amount of money for stock 26, but that's what they're worth. And then I sold even stuff like the Nismo clocks 2 grand.
They're big money.
Yeah.
Crazy.
The GTR market loves an old logo.
Yeah. It had R35 brake kit on it. I sold that. That actually went on George's R34. I think that I sold that to him for like 4 grand or something, which is mad. And before I knew it, I'd paid off the whole 18 grand of the car. And I had still, in my eyes, a complete GTR with no engine in it and no brakes on it. And I was, at this point, I've basically got a free GTR. Started to strip it down to actually repair it.
Jack maths.
Yeah, man maths. That's how you justify yourself, right? Started to strip it down, and because it had been hitting this corner, it was actually even the same colour as this, and it was actually bent in that back corner where it compressed the whole shell, and it had a crease in the transmission tunnel and stuff. And I thought, oh, this is escalating a lot. And I thought, well, you either just carry on breaking it for bits, and then I've got no GTR, or you buy another shell, which is why there's now, it's been a bare shell rebuild on a spit. Basically building like my old GTST, basically, but in a GTR. So I really hope it doesn't get rear-ended a week after I build it.
Just a quick, give a 30-second overview on what the final spec roughly we're aiming for here.
Yeah, so obviously, again, I didn't really know what I was building. I just wanted a fast GTI. It was originally just going to be a track car, and then started building 1,000 horsepower GTRs, and I was like, I need to build something faster.
Bit sluggish then fast.
So at this point, it's based obviously because of what I do. Obviously, all I really do is a quest for power, isn't it? Yeah. So realistically, it's probably just going to be a drag car. Okay. It's realistically what it's going to be.
What engine setup?
It's RB30 block with a spool 3.2 litre stroker, Nitto block brace, external oil pump. It's got...
What, dry sump?
No, it's not. It's a wet sump with an external pump, yeah. So I've not actually used one of these before, and this is sort of...
A test bed.
Test bed. So there's so many benefits to it. We won't go into that now because it'll escalate a lot. But anyway, there's a lot of positives to it. Because you think, the one thing I will say is you're going to spend £1,000 on a Nitto pump. The external pump's £1,000 anyway. So you're getting the same thing, but it's still got more upside.
Plus more.
Yeah.
Turbo setup?
Yeah, so then it's got a G42 1450, Hollinger sequential, 282 cams in it, shimless head.
282s?
Shimless head. Dave's head man has just done the most incredible port job you've seen on the head. It's fucking beautiful. I mean, it is good. This is how much effort he's put into it. So it's Plasma Man intake, which is obviously a one-piece welded inlet. So he can't port match it easy, whereas like a Hypertune inlet, the runners come off it and the flange comes off it, so you can lay it over it and work out where you need to port it to make it perfect. So what he's done is made an exact copy of the Plasma Man flange and then fitted that to the head so he could make it absolutely phased.
Like a template or a
like a template, yeah. So he's gone above and beyond with that. And then there's a lot of other few trick things into it. We won't go into it too much because we'll be here all night. But
what's the expected power goal? What's your aim?
So it's also like firing the block and stuff. So it can take some jam, is what we'll say. I'm not going to run it at that straight away because I'm scared the block's going to crack.
Yeah.
So
still cast block.
So for still cast block. So for the meanwhile, I'll run it at probably 2 bar. It'll probably do 1100-ish maybe at that. And then I think what I'll probably do is get GTR Festival out of the way, or maybe turn it up at GTR Festival.
Well, if you're gonna scout,
maybe on the last day I'll be like, all right, 3 bar sender.
3 bar, you think?
Yeah, that'll do. Well, probably 2.8. It'll probably do 2.8 bar.
Holy shit!
With a Hollinger sequential and a G42.
Yeah.
You're gonna be far.
I might move up to a G45, but I wanted to see what the 40. I wanted to see what it would do because obviously it's direct swap, so we might as well compare. Yeah.
Okay. How many patrols do you have, Jack?
I have 3 patrols.
RX-7 FD as well, am I right?
Yeah.
Honda track car as well?
No, I've sold that. I sold that, yeah. When I bought the RX-7, I sold the tag, yeah.
By the way, they're not normal patrols.
No, one of them is just out of shot here.
Yeah, and it has an RB25, no, 26 in it.
It's 26 bottom end with a 25 head on it.
Yeah.
G3900, same spec as your old car, apart from...
No, it's a 600 to 700 horsepower patrol.
Yeah.
On an AHP.
AHP box. Yeah.
Nice. And there's something else you have as well. S-body.
Oh, yeah. S15. Yeah, I got the S15.
How many?
The S15. I've only got one S-body.
I've only got 2.
There's another S15 out there, but that's Jade's.
Okay, that bollocks, because You definitely bought it for her.
No, I didn't. No,
Oh,
bought and paid for by her. Yeah,
All right, okay.
yeah.
All right,
And
well,
she's going full JDM on it as well. She's got genuine Vertex Ridge kit coming for it.
yeah,
Is it
nice.
Edge or Ridge? No, it's an Edge, I think. There's not much difference to them, is there? Yeah, that should be a pretty cool car.
So the man lives and breathes this shit. This isn't just a job for you, is it? Really?
Not really, no. I mean, I don't know what the time is now, but if it's not,
it's 8:20.
oh yeah. So when you guys leave, I'll just carry on working on the patrol.
So Jack isn't an early riser though, in fairness, but he's a late finisher.
Yeah.
No one likes the mornings.
Apparently.
I don't know how people like mornings, man. It's a horrible time of day. It's cold. It's
I came and did a
drizzly.
few days' work for Jack when I was quiet at one point at my old job, and I said to Jack, "What time do you want me to get there, mate? Sort of 7?" And he was like, "You can get there at 7." And I was like, "Well, what time do you want to be there?" He's like, "Oh, like 10, 11, something like that. I don't know, whenever I wake up."
Yeah, 10's a good number. Yeah.
Don't ring him before. You won't get a response.
No.
So we've covered the company, the business. We've covered your personal cars, although we have brushed over them. There's a lot more to it. There's also speedboats. There's also other stuff.
There's also about 15 RBs out there.
There is.
Yeah, they were in the container.
Yeah. Japan.
Japan.
Now we've glossed over it a couple times, and we said we'll come back to it. So let's come back to it. So, Jack, if you don't know, we've mentioned it previously on the podcast. You may or may not have heard it. Jack had a time in his life where he just kept going to Japan, drifting at all the circuits, mainly Ibisu, and then bringing said car back, doing car up, selling it. But we haven't really covered the details. But a lot of people, to a lot of people, that is the dream.
Yeah.
Still
My dream.
Yeah, still a lot of
And
people.
you did that many times. So
Yeah.
and many years ago.
Exactly. So when did you? Can you remember when you first went and how did you
fuck,
end up?
I can't. To be honest, it was probably 2014 was the first time I went, I should think. Must have been. Because if BDC was 2013,
Yeah.
I hadn't.
That was
I
when
hadn't,
you said, "Fuck this, I'm going to Japan."
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
drifting.
So it might have even been end of 2013.
Jack's
I think it
opinion
was.
was drifting was on its arse in the UK at the time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And he was like, "Fuck this, I'm not having a car in this country. I'm going to."
But to be fair, now you look back at it and you think, oh, drifting was pretty good then. But yeah, anyway, so still at that point, I pretty much had no money to my name whatsoever. Like, I would come home and work for, say, 6 months at a time to earn enough money to go to Japan, buy a car. And that's when I sort of got into the whole importing cars thing, because I would buy a car there, I would go to Ibisu, drive it, and then ship whatever was left of it home.
That is a very crucial point.
Yeah.
And then either sell it or break it for parts, and that would actually, you could sometimes, if you bought the right car, the profit out of that car, you could pay for the whole trip if you were tight enough while you were there anyway.
What was your first Japan car?
The 32 that's outside still,
32, wasn't it? And what did Andy at Power Vehicles say when you bought it?
He was telling me how lovely it was, and he'd just finished getting it built up again. He loved that car, and I was like, this guy really likes this car or not. And a brief rundown of the car, it was 32 GCST on, it had VSKFs on it, in good specs as well. It had cage, genuine bride,
Monkey
fixed
Magic
seats. Yeah, it had
That
a cool kit on it. It
That
had,
kit ended up on my 32.
it did,
That
yeah.
front bumper and skirts with the skirt.
It had HKS cams in it, head gasket. I don't really know too much what was done to the engine. I just know it had cams on head gasket, and it had an HKS something turbo on it. GTRS it had on it. And it ripped, to be fair. It was a cool car.
A Diamante key.
And I paid £2,500 for it.
And also, on top of all of this, it was immaculate.
It was immaculate. It was pristine. It had one dent in the quarter panel, and that was it.
How many dents did it have in the quarter panel at the end of it?
It had a lot, yeah. So I'd owned it 10 minutes. I'd got there, Andy gave me the key for it. He was like, yeah, car's outside. He's like, wicked car, that. And went down to school course, which I don't know if anyone knows Ibisu is just like...
Most people that listen to this.
You think school course, good place to learn.
Beginner.
Yeah. It's not what school course is. If you ever go to Ibisu, school course is not for learning. It can be, just if you stay away from the walls. But there's much better tracks there to learn on than school course. So anyway, obviously I could already skid. I didn't need to learn how to drift. I was just hopped in the car, got used to it. I was like, yeah, this thing's fucking wicked. Andy was not wrong. This is great. I was like, let's run some walls. And there's 2 walls like this, so you can clip one and then clip the next one in one bend. And I come flying up to it flat out. I'm like, yeah, I'm the boy. I know what I'm doing. Rip on the e-brake, quick adjustment. Wasn't attached to anything. I hadn't checked it beforehand. I was like, oh, fuck. Look at where I'm going. I'm like, oh, I'm so fucked. And just plowed it straight into this wall, caved it in.
Bad as well.
Bad, yeah. And drove it back up to power vehicles. And Andy was like, what the fuck? You've had this car 10 minutes and you've just written it off. And bear in mind, I was gonna keep it mint and take it home.
Yeah. I suppose you got it out of the way early on your trip, though.
We did, yeah. And within 10 minutes, Nick had a JZX and we had straps on it. We were pulling it out. I went in and got I think it just bent the toe arm. Had a high gas bar in it with stock toe arms, and they're like pissy little things, aren't they? Luckily, it just bent that. So pulled the core out enough so that the wheel didn't hit it anymore. And off we went, yeah. Yeah, it was good fun.
Did you drift for the whole week?
Yeah. So what we used to do was land, go straight to the track, drift all week, and then go chill in Tokyo for a few days just to sort of wind down a bit and then go home again.
As you do. You do. And how many times did you do that?
Then, as soon as I went that first time, got the bug for it. Because
do you know the in Japan thing that we take the piss out of?
Yeah.
This was Mr. In Japan. This is all we heard.
Yeah.
Nah, it's all shit
to be fair,
in Japan.
Unless you go, you need to go. Anyone that's into drifting should definitely go at some point.
It's on the bucket list.
It's a mega place.
Getting further and further away.
Yeah.
The top of my bucket list.
To me, a lot of people say, would you go back and do it all again? I probably would have done if they hadn't got rid of Minami. Yeah. But that track was something special. It was so good.
And you're a man that likes to be on the edge.
Yeah, well, that's what that track was all about. And on a Friday night, on Matsuri night, it was just chaos. Everyone would go to Minami. Like, everyone at Abisu would be at Minami, and it was just nuts. Does it? Yeah. To be fair, North Course trains were a thing. Yeah.
Someone lost a hand the other day.
Someone did lose their hand at North Course. They were doing the old slap the wall.
Oh, and then a car came past. Shit.
So now you're not going to stand on the wall.
Bit handless.
Did see a lot. So in the period of time that I was doing it, I'd probably done it over a 4-year period, I suppose, something like that.
Before the cage rule and things like that.
Yeah, there was no cage rule. Yeah, there was no rules.
Right.
You could rock up in a car that had no seat belts, had no body panels, it was caved in. It's like, tracks over there, mate, and you're like, okay, cool. But now I think, you got to have cage, harness, bucket seats, all that sort of stuff. Which is kind of understandable, but
proudly placed. Well. I mean, I've never been. You have, but it looks like it.
But as I went, every year it got a little bit more strict, and I don't know. I just got to a point where I was just focusing on business. I think really. It got to the point where I was going about 3 times a year, I think. And it was literally, you'd come home, work, earn enough money, go to Japan. Come home, earn enough money, go to Japan.
Hopefully the previous car had landed in the meantime. So you can fund the next trip.
Yeah, well then I ended up with that JZX. I don't know if you remember that 90 that I had.
Yeah.
That stayed there for a few years, I think, because
she was tired.
Yeah, I was tired. That wasn't worth bringing home.
You also had.
I think I paid about £900 for that JZX.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah. And I actually sold it for more than I paid for it, because by this point it was getting harder to source cars, and I think I sold it for a couple of grand.
You sent me the other day a 180 with a basic spec.
Yeah.
How much was it?
It was 2.4 million yen, which was like 11 grand.
2.4 million, yeah. It's about 12 grand.
40.
It was
nice, but
it was okay.
It's
S13 with the cage, knuckles, cams.
Going back to Josh Goddard with the V8 S13 that I wired up, and his car's now over there.
Which is, by the way, an S15 with your old...
It's got a built 25 in it,
yeah.
G3900s. It's actually got methanol injection in it, and it's got an AHP box in it. So, be a pretty cool car. What was I going to say? He came with me on one trip. I was like, Josh, you've got to come to Japan, mate. I don't think I had to tell him, to be fair. I think he said, when are you next going? I'm coming to Japan. And he bought a C33 Laurel, and it was beautiful. It was a cool thing. And I was like, if you don't ride this off, mate, this is coming home with me. Like, I like this car. It was the first day, I think. I was like, let's go to North, like, because I said that's actually probably a better place to learn than school course. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but he could already drive as well. Not like at a ridiculous level, but he could still pedal a car. And I guess the main thing with North, if you get it wrong, is because you enter a blind corner flat out, and then you flick it into a wall. And I was trying to chase Josh, and I said to him, you're getting that line really wrong, mate, and you're really going to hurt yourself if you keep doing that, because you're going to go into the end of the pit wall if you get it wrong, and that would really hurt. Because I'd seen somebody do that in a JZX. They got it wrong, pit wall, flat out, sideways into it. Yeah. Passenger was like air ambulance and shit. It was rough. And I think that's probably why I was trying to stop him, because I'd seen that happen. And I said, right, on this next run, you need to follow me, because you need to go so much wider with so much more speed. I was like, I know it sounds more dangerous, but it's safer. So follow me, do what I do. I go around the top of the hill, I get to the bottom of the track. I'm like, where is he? I'm like, I don't know. And then I actually stopped. I actually turned my car off in the middle of the track and was like, there's no cars going around the track. I was like, oh dear. Oh dear.
What did you see when you came up the hill, Jack?
Drove back round, and there's just his car. I think it was on his side. Was it on his roof?
Side.
I think it was on his side. Up against the pit. He'd done exactly what I told him not to. Because at the end of the pit wall, they'd put tyres there, because probably from that other car. And he'd clipped the tyre, but obviously clipping the tyre pulled the front in, which then went up the wall. And I think he was whole car was airborne, and then he went on his roof and then rolled onto his side. I can't remember. And that was probably, again, within 3 hours of being at Ibisu.
It's not a forgiving place.
It's not. And this is, again, how cheap cars were then. I was like, well, let's go down Power Vehicles, get another one. And we went and bought a 180 for 900 quid, I think it was.
Fuck, disgusting.
Yeah.
We'd be there. Now if those prices were still a thing.
100%. I'd have a car over then.
Someone I saw not long ago was selling a beaten 100, like with all the cage and everything that it needs, and it was 20 grand.
Yeah, that's mad, isn't it? Absolutely mad. The problem is, if you don't buy a car that's got PV support, so a PV support means it was originally supplied by Power Vehicles, and they will support that vehicle with spare parts. You can use their tyre machine, they'll give you tyres, all that sort of thing. You're going to struggle a little bit, because you do what I did, you hit a wall, you've then got to fucking go to Up Garage or something and try and get some bits, and you lose you're on holiday at the end of the day, aren't you? You don't want to waste time doing that.
So you would?
I would.
But not 20 grand for a beaten.
No, I would not do that.
Crazy money.
Yeah.
It's crazy money.
To be fair, I'd like to think, obviously I have a good relationship with Andy now, I'd like to think if I said to him, Andy, I've bought this car at an auction, can I come and you'll look after me? I'd like to think he would say yeah, but...
You've bought quite a few cars for Andy now.
Yeah. He's a really nice guy, to be fair.
Yeah, he's living the dream, I think.
Yeah.
Living the dream. There was something I was going to say. This could be there for me. You go.
But yeah, that's all Japan. After the R32 was your S15.
Yeah.
So that's where Adam's S15 came from, so I bought that.
Which trip was it Europe school course? So Jack is still a bit of a Snapchat fan for his mates. So we get funny little videos from Jack every now and then. And I remember one of your trips to Japan, I was at work, and I got a funny little video of you driving through the pits in Japan, and then all of a sudden, was it a monkey or a penguin?
Oh yeah, it was a monkey. Was it a monkey?
No, there was a monkey on a leaf.
It was a monkey.
Yeah, no, it was the monkey you're thinking of, yeah. There was a penguin, but what the video you're thinking of was a monkey, yeah.
Jack sent me a video of a man walking a monkey through the middle of Ibisu Pit.
Yes.
Yeah. I was literally hanging around school course. I was like, that monkey? And I straightened up, pulled off track, and there's actually a video on YouTube. Yeah. If you search, I can't think what the YouTube page, I think it's Jay's Garage. There's actually Japanese videos on there, yeah. And there is on one of the Ibisu videos, the end of a video is me waving to this monkey. Yeah.
It's a crazy place there. Yeah. Not even just the driving, just the place in general.
Oh yeah, it's mad. Yeah. Well, because Ibisu's at a zoo.
Yeah.
So there's
great combination.
Animal, yeah.
Why wouldn't it be?
To be honest, I don't really like the zoo there too much. It's a bit touch and go. Bit animal cruelty. I'm not really a big fan of it, but at the same time, you do get to also see some cool animals while you're drifting. So
apparently monkeys.
Yeah, apparently monkeys and penguins and yeah.
It's such a random...
It is bizarre, because what's even weirder is North Course. Honestly, you can't explain it unless you go there, because the altitude changes to get from each track is massive. So to get to North Course, I mean, you're driving up a hill like this to the point of, if you've got dead tyres, You won't make it up the hill. You've got to change your tyres at the bottom of the hill because it will create enough wheel spin you won't get up to the top. And you have to like get a run up to go up this hill and that kind of thing. And you'll literally come down into the zoo. You drive through the zoo and you've just wrecked a set of tyres up at north, hit a wall a couple of times, your car's all stoved in, maybe the exhaust has fallen off. And you're driving through a zoo and everyone's looking at you and they're just like looking at monkeys and yeah, so it's a crazy place.
Sounds like a trip. Like an absolute like a fever dream of the place.
You do definitely need to go. But
it's massively
I will say you have probably missed the glory days.
I think so, sadly.
We have accepted that. However, it still doesn't put me off not wanting to go.
Yeah.
It just makes it more difficult to be able to afford to go.
Yeah.
It's big bucks these days.
Yeah. But definitely don't go unless you've got a car to drive, because then
you could be real blue ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Majorly.
Who was it was it Goddard or was it Nick that went with you with no intention of buying a car and then bought one when they were there? It sounds like a Nick thing to me.
Nick's done some crazy things. He bought an R32. He literally bought an R32 once because it was fuck all, like $1,000 or something. And he got there and he was like, "Yeah, I haven't got any money for fuel." I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Well, I reckon I can probably afford this many tyres." And I was like, "Mate, why have you not earned a bit more money before?" Because obviously I was the same. I was earning the money before I went. And it was crazy that buying the car was actually the cheap part. Because you could, if you were shredding tyres, you could go through, well, as many as you dared in a day kind of thing. Yeah.
It is just as much seat time as you want, really, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
How about
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the dream. It's the ultimate dream, I think, for anyone into this stuff.
I think anyone into drifting, the dream is Japan, and probably Ibisu is probably the dream for most people, I would say.
I would say one of the most fun tracks is, fuck, I don't think what it's called now.
Higashi?
Nah, the other one. Shit,
Tonkin?
Higashi is good. No, the other one.
North Course we've done.
Nah, it's the other one. What the fuck was it called?
I know what you mean. Nishi.
Yeah,
Nishi Shore.
yeah. So that is a riot. There's one day where they change it to Nishi Shore. And everyone goes there for the day.
That's the one where you see like 30 car
train. Yeah, massive trains over a blind hill. Yeah. So it's like a left-hander, but because everyone's like trying to get on it, the car's already starting to step out, but you're trying to keep grip. It's a real weird sort of vibe. Everyone's almost like drag racing around this sort of bend a little bit sideways. And then you flick it blind over a hill that you drop down.
That elevation change.
Yeah, that's such a fun track.
Would you agree that Japan's especially Ibisu, is a brilliant advertisement for not overbuilding your car as well?
Exactly that, yeah.
You're probably out-carring yourself long before
your
car
definitely
can't keep up with you.
A lot of the time you'd see a lot of people would buy like high-spec cars and stuff, and you'd see they wouldn't even have as much fun as the lesser built cars because they cared about them more, is the problem. You need to go there with the intention of that car is not coming home. Yeah.
Which I think is probably the right attitude to have, and go there to drive, not to build a racing car.
Yeah.
There's probably something to be said for that, really. But there's only you can't really get away with that in the UK. You can't turn up to like a drift event in the UK with an S13 with a door.
Half beaten up,
blow for 900 quid.
Well, that's true.
That's true.
In a two-way.
Yeah. Well, you can't in Japan anymore either.
Yeah, because they're all over here or America.
Yeah.
No, if you look at like the auction prices now, you can buy UK S bodies and R bodies cheaper than you can from Japan auctions.
Yeah, so the thing with the Japanese stuff, which I say to customers that want to import stuff and things, I say you're not getting a cheaper car anymore. You used to do it, you used to get a cheap car that was clean with a good spec to it. Now you're just getting a better car.
Yeah.
If you get something clean, like, say clean stuff like this.
So
not cheap.
Do you still do importing then for people or?
So that's mainly why there's so many like 32s kicking about and stuff. It's not that I do lots of importing. It's just that I sold a house that actually I lived in as well, that I'd renovated, and I've been renovating houses for a lot of years. I just needed a break. I just needed a break for a minute.
Quickly as well, when Jack says he was renovating a house, what he means is he was running this business for 12 hours a day
and then going home and then renovating a house.
Physically renovating a house.
Yeah.
Jack is a carpenter by trade.
Yeah, I actually am.
You're a fully qualified carpenter and a painter and a wirer and a fabricator and tuner and got household plumber and household spark. And
not
I'm now a pretty good gas boiler engineer as well, actually. Yeah.
Jack is one of these people that will have a crack at something because he's cheaper than paying someone, and he knows he could probably figure it out with some YouTube.
Yeah,
And
pretty
then
much,
just
yeah.
throws himself in at the deep end and figures it out. So when you say renovating houses, you mean you were...
I was the guy renovating it, yeah.
Yeah, and we're not talking like old bungalow, lick of paint. We're talking like
Knocking walls
it
down,
down.
building extensions, yeah. The last one, that almost fucking killed me, which is why I needed a break, because at the time I was building Max's Patrol, which is the Patrol with the VR38 in it, AHP box.
Oh, we totally glossed over that.
Yeah.
I was building George's R34 GTR, which was like 1,000 horsepower build. They were both big builds, trying to tune stuff, trying to renovate a house. It just got too much. And in the end, I think the last few months, I just was like, build. I can't do this anymore.
Over it.
I was like, I'm just going to earn my money building the Patrol and the GTR for George, and obviously tuning, and basically give it all to them. I didn't care if I wasn't earning any money. I didn't care if I wasn't earning any money. I just needed both the cars to be built and the house to be done, and it was...
Whatever it took to get.
So anyway, got a little bit off track here. So the reason why I've started importing some stuff again is because I had a break from that, and I thought I'll just import some stuff to keep some money flowing, basically. Yeah.
And skipping back, we just glossed over the fact George is the other owner of 7 Days.
Yeah.
And the 34 that you glossed over was like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Was a Bayside Blue R34 GTR.
Yeah.
With all the stuff.
Yeah, so that was
Which came to you as a bone stock.
It was a bone stock car left with 1,024 horsepower. That was a Nitto 2.8. That had 282 cams in it as well. Very similar spec to my car, apart from that I had OS Geiken sequential. And that was actually tuned on E85 because you could get plenty of that in Dubai because George lives in Dubai. So once the car was finished, it had to be shipped to Dubai.
Got air freight.
Quite a cool story with that because we basically drove it into the side of an Emirates plane and off it went. And it was like 2 days.
With it, didn't you?
2 days. No, I had to go a little bit later.
Oh, right.
So it's like 2 days later because it had to sit in customs basically. So 2 days later, I land and was driving the same car that I'd been in 2 days beforehand, which is pretty crazy. Yeah.
Not just the only car, a 2.8 Nitto, 1,000+ horsepower,
Full
sequential,
flat shift.
Yeah.
full flat shift R34 GTR.
And then I think the next day we were at
Yas
Yas Marina drag racing it, and that was pretty cool. It was the third quickest car that was there. Pretty cool.
That's sick. Just putting this perspective though, we're talking 2010 with RB25 swapped RS13.
Standard.
And we
That
think
was
it's
a
the
big achievement.
fastest thing ever.
Yeah,
But your
yeah.
dad thinks you're a fucking helmet for doing it. cut to only 14 years, 13, 14 years later.
Yeah.
And you're shipping 1,000+
Air freighting.
horsepower GTRs to Dubai.
Yeah.
Going out to Dubai to map them and then racing them
On Yas Marina.
on the Yas Marina circuit.
Yas Marina, yeah, pretty much.
Come a long way, mate. Come an awfully long way.
I'd also say 13 years is quite a long time.
Not really.
I also have been around for 13 of those years. I ain't in Yas Marinas driving fucking GTRs either.
I think I stopped in Dubai once on a flight, but I've never actually been.
I've flown over it, I think.
I've certainly
It's a
not.
strange place.
Certainly not had that.
Strange place. I'm not really sure what the extreme hype is about it. I can understand, like, I can appreciate it and that kind
I
of thing.
understand the
But,
tax reason.
yeah, I understand tax reasons, yeah. But, yeah, it's definitely an interesting place.
And for people that don't know, the other car you glossed over, you just happened to mention it had a VR38 in it.
Yeah.
It's a Patrol that you built for someone in Norfolk, aren't they, I think?
Yeah, well, he's from London, but his parents own a place in Suffolk, which is like vast land. And he had, I say he didn't really have a car to use when he was here. They had like a Volvo that, like, you know, take the kids to gymnastics in or whatnot. And he saw my blue Patrol that I had. I don't have that one anymore, which is an RB25 Patrol. And I think I took it skydiving one day to Beccles, and he saw it and was like,
We'll just gloss over that.
Just gloss over the
he was like, what is this thing? And I was like, oh, it's a Patrol with Skyline engine in it. He was like, I need it. He was like, how much? I was like, you don't want it. And he was like, what do you mean you don't want
Was
it?
that the one that had 2 different size pistons in it?
And that was that one, yeah. Well, they weren't different size. They were all 86.5, but they'd come out of an engine that I deemed was no good.
3 different engines?
So they were all out the
Oh, they
same
were all out the
engine,
same
yeah,
one.
but it was like, I deemed it as scrap, as in customer scrap. For my own motor, though, I was like, let's get honing. Do you know what I mean? Let's bore that block and chuck them in there. Anyway, I said, you don't want that car. It's a pile of junk. I said, the sills are made out of fiberglass.
It's a laugh for me to have a laugh.
It was, the reason I bought that was because it was factory RB30, and that's where the block for the 32 has come from. So I bought it for the block, and then I thought, oh, well, this is funny, because an RB25 bolts straight in, onto the mounts, gearbox, clutch, everything, and you've just got an RB25 control. Yeah, because it's RB30 block, isn't it? So I just built that out of literally the scrap in the workshop, and I was like, you don't want to buy this one, but I can build you another one. And at the time, I was telling him about that one that's over there, because I thought about putting a VR38 in it. And
because you also have one sat on a stand out.
Because there's one over there, and I actually bought that out of a fire damaged GTR. Didn't know anything about it. All I knew is it didn't have a hole in the block. And anyone that knows VR38 tuning, everyone tunes them all to the same sort of 650 horsepower, and they throw rods.
I've seen that happen. Yeah. we won't go there.
So I'd thought about putting the VR38 in the Patrol, but I said to him what I was planning to build at the time, and he was like, I love that idea. That's great. Like, I said, I don't know if it's even going to work. Like, I can't say I'm going to build you that, because I don't even know if the motor fits. I've not tried it. And literally 2 days later, he'd got my number off somebody and was like, I was talking to you about patrols. I was like, you were? I was like, how can you want to know more about patrols? You had literally chewed my ear off for about 2 hours about patrols. And he was like, I need to find one. He was like, help me find a shell. Let's get it going. I was like, but I don't know if the engine's going to fit. He was like, make it fit. I was like, Jesus Christ.
No pressure.
I was like, well, just be aware, there's a certain point where you get to where you have to say, this does not fit. And he was like, well, we'll cross that bridge if it does not fit. And it was probably within 2 days, there was a Patrol and a VR38 here. I was like, oh, fucking hell. I was like, I guess we're building this then. Again, at this point, I didn't really want to build cars.
Yeah.
But it was a cool project. And I wanted to do it. So I was like, let's do it. And it did not fit. It really did not fit. Because obviously a Patrol is live axle.
Yeah.
VR38's a tool. I literally put it in, and to get it in the right place, I just sat the sump on the axle. And that was where it needed to be. I was like, this isn't going to work. Then it was a 10 grand dry sump system later, because VR38s, again, like I say, they're tool. Most of that is sump. They actually, where the crank pulley stops, the sump is about down here somewhere.
Really?
It's crazy. So if you dry sump it, it comes up to here. Then the turbos didn't fit.
It's an expensive solution to that problem.
But it literally was the only solution. Then the turbos didn't fit. So then we had to go top mounts, and it just escalated and escalated and escalated.
It became a very rowdy car as well.
But it's a cool car, yeah.
Very cool.
And that was 2 years ago that was built. And it's had nothing done to it since. It just keeps going. I don't know how, because it's driven like I've never seen anything driven before.
He's a bit hard on the gear, isn't he?
To say he has no mechanical sympathy is an understatement. Yeah.
Things we love to see.
Yeah, the first weekend he had it was because at their place in Suffolk, they run an event called Horsepower Hill. And it had to be ready for this event. I dropped off about 3 days before this event, and then there's like a grass area that is used for like donuts and stuff. And he actually had
Harry
Metcalf in the car. And he was like, oh, should we do some donuts? This is all on Harry's YouTube thing as well.
I watched it.
And because Max was confident, because the day before he'd been doing donuts, but it was damp. And it was fully dry the next day. And he, foot flat, flicked it in before it broke traction. And it didn't break traction. It tried to roll. And I don't know how he caught it.
He did well.
If it had gone even 3 degrees more, I think that would have been over. And yeah, obviously it came down, and that was the first.
And it came down, and Harry Metcalf had a face on him like the world.
Yeah.
And Max was
just like, whoops. And that was the first of the mechanical sympathies I realised he did not have. And I was like, this truck is not going to last 6 months.
I need this back. I've just got to do a safety
update.
Recall.
But yeah, 2 years later, it's not needed anything.
So it's a stock VR38 with top mount turbos.
Yeah.
On a what box?
8 HP.
8 HP.
Full four-wheel drive.
So that's also the first ever VR38 on 8 HP in the world, which is pretty cool. It's actually, now people have made VR38 AHP adapters, but they didn't exist when I done it. And I used a 350Z adapter because very similar bell housings, and then put it in the mill, and it needed quite a bit of work, but I got it to work.
Sick. That's just a little snippet of some of the very boring tame builds that you
Day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, day-to-day life of Jack.
It's a mad life, and we glossed over the skydiving bit, but people will probably want to know.
Right.
So why skydiving? What's that about?
I don't know really. Yeah, I don't know. So coincidentally, George, who I built the 34 for, had always
7 days, George.
We'd both always said it'd be a cool thing to do, but neither one of us have ever had the balls to be like, we've booked it. And to be fair, Josh Goddard, I actually spoke to him years ago about it, and he wanted to do it. And then it was when I met Max. No, it wasn't. It was before that, because I met Max at skydiving. It was when I met a guy called Callum.
Not me.
Not that Callum. Another guy called Callum. About completely different things. He's a mortgage man. Anyway, I met him, and he'd done a lot of base jumping.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, George was telling me that you two talk about skydiving a lot. And I was like, yeah, I would like to do it, but, you know.
Scary, isn't it?
Pretty scary, isn't it, throwing yourself out of a plane? And I'd done a tandem years before kind of thing. And then Callum just made a group chat one day. He was like, let's book it. He was like, anyone that doesn't book it's a pussy. I was like,
I can't be a pussy.
I can't be a pussy, can I? And realistically, I think that's what everyone in the group chat did. They were like, well, I'm not going to be the guy to leave. Yeah. But skydiving sounds a lot scarier than it is.
Fling yourself out of a fucking plane.
You'd be surprised how normal it becomes very quickly.
What?
Yeah. Honestly, when you're learning, so to learn, it's 8 jumps with an instructor. And after that, you're on your own.
What do they say? Pull the chute.
I reckon
that bit,
by the time you're on your 4th jump, you're not phased about it anymore. Just another jump. Honestly, it's that quickly it becomes normal.
Right.
And everyone thinks the same. You speak to anyone that does skydiving, by the 4th jump, it's just another day.
How many dives have you done?
I haven't actually done that many, because this year I've done about 4 because I haven't had time. I think overall I've done about 60 now, which isn't a lot at all, really.
That's a lot more fucking flying through the air than I've managed, mate.
Yeah, well, George has done, he's on to about 250 now, I think. And we both started at the same time. But he has a lot of spare time. I do not. He has a lot of spare time.
And a lot better weather.
Yeah, and he lives in Dubai, yeah.
So, there's a couple of little questions that we got sent in that I'll kind of spitball, to be fair.
I'll have a look.
I hate to think what these are.
Well,
It was you, but we can't read it out.
Yeah, we can't read that one.
Oh, yeah.
One of the ones I got asked was, right, Jack is predominantly a link tuner. We'll tune anything, but he's a link tuner. But one ECU you flat out refuse to tune is ECU Master.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
I mean, I have tuned plenty of them. I will be honest, I have tuned.
Why you're like so against
I just
one of the
fucking
questions
hate
was,
them.
why do so many people
Hate ECU
refuse
Master.
to tune ECU Master? So we've got a tuner. Talk to me.
It's hard to explain. I just hate the software of them, to be honest. Yeah, it's more the software. What sells me on an ECU, to be honest, is great logging.
Yeah.
And Link does have really good logging. I will be honest. Hopefully, no one from Link's watching this. It's because it's a rip-off of Motec logging. It's realistically realistically what it is.
Anyone would argue that Motec is some of the best out there.
Yeah, but that is pretty much what the Link logging is very similar to Motec, shall we say? Rip-off may be a bit of a harsh word, but it's very similar and it's very good.
It's taken inspiration.
Yeah, it's very good, and that speeds up the tuning process, the fault finding process, and all of that sort of stuff. And to be honest, I think I learn on links, so I judge everything or compare everything to what I'm so used to, kind of thing. And I find it much harder, more hard work tuning an ECU Master, shall we say. And if there's a fault, it would be harder to figure it out for me. And so
So predominantly it's more the kind of what your tuner's used to.
What I would say is, yes, what a lot of it will probably be what they learn on.
Yeah.
It's a bit like if you're English and you learn French, you're always going to be better at speaking English.
Yeah.
Is probably what I would say.
It's a great way of putting that.
Don't get me wrong, you can always learn another software just like you can learn another language.
You're going to have to work a lot harder at it.
And I know the Link software so well. I know if a car is doing the slightest thing wrong, I don't even have to look at it. I'm like, I know it's that.
Yeah.
Um,
Fair enough. That answers that then.
so it's a bit like, say, Haltech as well. It's the same thing. Great ECU and all that kind of thing. And again, I've tuned lots of them, but it's the same thing. It's just your native language, I guess. Yeah.
I'm going to rapid fire some questions at you. These have been sent in by
A multitude of
people. I'm not going to read every single name of every single person because it'll take a load of time, and you've already given us a load of time.
Yeah.
First question. How do you stay on top of your game in terms of mapping and make sure that you stand out? So how... Well, yeah. How do you keep second place?
I would say one of the things that people like the most about what I do is wouldn't notice it so much with drift cars, but say like in the GTR community is how they drive on the road. I put a lot of time into making it drive like an OEM car, start up like an OEM car from cold. A lot of people will turn up, tune a car in a day and kick it out the door, and the next day it'll crank and won't start up, and then you can't drive it from cold or that kind of thing. And I think that's what a lot of people do like about it.
My 32 had great road manners, to be fair.
I think people do like that. But then also, on the other hand, you do stuff like your drift car, make it rowdy. People are like, I want that.
Well, it was a bit flat, but you know. No, we're in joking this. No, you've got the ability to do both. You can go full bore, but you can also go, right, this guy wants it for this purpose.
Of it. So, a lot of people go to say certain tuners because they're like, oh, but he makes it rowdier. But you have to listen to what the customer wants. I have a lot of customers, again, in the GTR community, they drop their car off and they say, I don't want it to try and blow the tyres off. I want it to be fast, but I also want it to be really drivable. And you just have to listen to what people want. So like, say your car, when it was on the old turbo and stuff, it made some power, but it was a little bit shit. The rear housing was really small. It didn't have any top end legs, did it? And you said, I want it rowdy. So we brought it in and I said, here you go.
I expected 600 horsepower and got over 700, but it was rowdy.
So that's what I mean. If it's a lot of the way I do it is I listen to what somebody wants and then do what they want. If you see what I mean. If they say they want it to be reliable and never have an issue, I will tune it I'll tune on the safer side for them and that kind of thing.
Next question. Why do you think that in the UK versus Europe and Australia and New Zealand, SR20 VEs aren't really a thing, whereas in
I think
Australia,
that's just a supply issue, isn't it?
It's not due to the fact that the engines are not great or difficult to machine or...
Nah, I don't think so. I think it's just hard to get the bits here, isn't it? Whereas in Australia, it's a bit like RB30s.
Yeah.
All they've got to do is go find a fucking Commodore or something and rip a motor out of it. Yeah. Same with the VEs, I think.
What's Jack's dream build?
It's on the ramp.
32
32,
GTR.
Yeah. That's why it's getting the all bells and whistles kind of thing, because that is the dream.
This is a good question. What is your favourite car that you've built or tuned? So you can have like a favourite build and a favourite car you've worked on. It might be the same car, but...
it's a tricky one.
Yeah, there is a few to pick from.
Yeah, I don't know, because a lot of them do different things. Yeah, so it's a bit like, say, Max's Patrol. Really cool build, but obviously only usable for certain things and that kind of thing, whereas, say, like some of the GTRs I've done are just outrageously fast and that kind of thing.
Do you have any particular standouts?
I do like George's R34, I will say that. I do like
that car is sick.
But I think that was mainly because, well, to be fair, that and the Patrol, they were both builds I was just given free rein on. They gave me an end goal of what they wanted and said, the rest of it I don't care about. Build what you want. So say even like, say the way the engine bay looks on both of them, there was no input from the customer there whatsoever. It was just
a bit of creative freedom.
Creative freedom, yeah.
Next question. Best stroker kit for RB26 and best oiling tricks with RB.
RB26.
You are Mr. RB.
RB26 is a Nitto 2.8 wide journal stroker. The wide journal is only necessary, in my opinion, over a certain power threshold. 100% the best one for an RB28. And then the oiling situation comes down to, obviously, the oil pump, obviously having the correct drive on the crank, not having a short nose. But if you've got a stroker gear, you wouldn't have that anyway.
You mean a long nose crank?
Yeah, long nose. So on the Nitto one, say like George's, for example, that's actually got a sine drive.
Yeah, same as Jay's is.
No, they're spline drive.
Oh, are they?
Sine drive is like, it's smooth. It's like this kind of thing, but obviously round. Again, that's really good. So then the next issue is once you put the bigger pump on it, you don't want to empty the sump.
Which you do really fast.
Which you do really fast. So you need a bigger sump. If you do that, you're going to end up with too much oil in the head. So then you've got to put restrictors in the block. And then, you know, big power motors breathe. Simple as that. They breathe. Like,
What don't we know about that?
some will obviously breathe more than others. It all depends on how it's built and that kind of thing. But regardless, even if you build it with tight ring gaps, it's still going to breathe to a point. So you need a good catch can. And it's not even just a big catch can, you need a good one.
An efficient catch can.
So there's quite a lot of things with an RB that tie together. Head drains, people call them head drains. They're not really so much a head
like
drain.
block.
They're more like block breathers, yeah. Yeah, that's
I think that
that's most of the main things with an RB. There's still a lot more you can do.
A
But
trigger kit.
trigger hit's good, yeah.
Okay.
You'd be surprised what you can do with just a cam trigger as well, but there's a lot of gain to having the crank trigger.
Couple more questions, not many more, don't worry.
Alright.
Responsibility. Do you still get stressed about mapping? How was it at the beginning versus now? I suppose you covered a bit of that earlier, to be fair. I think you said for your first year you were quite nervous.
I was a bit nervous about it, and to be fair, in the first year, although I was nervous, I was really trying to push some cars faster and faster.
Yeah,
I was like, this is interesting, and I can remember, Neos, especially stock Neos, I was pushing them to the moon. Do you remember like Fly's R32 that I did for him? I was like, stock motor, 2-bar boost, give it fucking 8,000 RPM, let her rip. And I don't know where that car is now, he sold it, but the day he sold it, it was still as perfect as it was back then. And
You've always been certainly on friends' cars and your own cars.
Yeah, a bit braver, yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But obviously back then I was still sort of learning. Although you're doing the job, you don't know the limits of stuff. You've never tuned that to that edge. You don't know what it is. So yeah,
Way to find out.
and it's a bit like, what I say, tuning the car to how the customer wants as well. Like I said previously, it's a bit like nervous about letting a car go out when it's spicy. If the customer's asked for it, they've asked for it. It's a bit like,
Well, you asked for it.
Yeah, they know the risks kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
One of the last bits on that question, I didn't know if you saw it, was also how did you feel the first time you had something fail on the dyno wall tuning? Did you shoot yourself?
So what I will say, I've never melted a car, not one ever.
Better than some others we know of. Shots fired.
Yeah, I've never melted a piston in my life. The only sort of real failures I've had is bottom ends rattling and that kind of thing, which realistically is not the tuner's fault.
That's a mechanical fault.
It's a
not
mechanical
tuning
fault. I think whenever something, even when you're tuning a car and something happens and you think, fuck, what was that?
What did I
and you
do?
get out and it's like, oh, thank God it was only that or something. Even though still I've been tuning cars for, say, 10 years, never melted one. Every time something goes wrong, you're still like, fuck, what was that? But
Still got compression.
yeah, but yeah, I've never really had an issue.
That speaks volumes, though. I mean, some people will say, "Oh, yeah, but it's because he doesn't put any don't put any timing into them." Or no.
Oh, there's a lot of spicy cars out there.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
But I mean, that we've had 2 engines out of Jack, and they've not been slow.
No.
And the last one was really not slow. So
Really not slow.
Yeah. I would say the most common failure I see is bottom ends rattling.
what? Just go back a second. Sorry. What would actually? This is a bit of a noob question. What would cause a melted piston? Would it just be too much time?
Could be too much time and it's knocking, yeah, or it could suddenly go lean. So you see, back to the, what did I call it earlier?
Volumetric efficiency?
No, about the sort of tuning community. I called it toxic. Yeah. You'll see a lot of somebody's engine will melt, somebody will post it up, and that tuner is a wanker.
That's it.
Straight,
They're
that's
out of
it.
business.
That's it. They don't know what they're doing. And I saw one recently, actually, of another tuner. I don't really know what their work's like. I know a lot of people use them, but I've never had a car in of theirs and seen it or anything. I don't know. Anyway, melted a piston at an event, and everyone was kicking off about knock control, saying, but it had a knock sensor and they hadn't turned it on. There is no knock control in the world that was saving that engine. That engine, I reckon it had an injector failure. And if an injector fails like that, there's no knot control in the world fixing
Basically
that.
going to laser cut a hole in
And it instantly melted. So there's no reason for that to instantly melt one cylinder the way that did, other than an injector failure. I can't remember what the original question was.
Everyone was roaring about safeties in it, weren't they?
Yeah.
And they were turned off.
Yeah.
But
again, obviously you don't know the full story, but I looked at it with an open mind and was like, that had an injector fail. So
people are quick to point fingers.
they are
especially
very
uneducated
quick.
people.
Yeah, very
A
quick.
little bit of information is dangerous, isn't it?
Yeah,
In the wrong hands.
Yeah.
Next question. What's the worst thing you've experienced in terms of pre-dyno preparations or lack thereof?
Gosh. Oh, God. Let's talk about Snapchat, shall we?
Well, actually, one of the questions is, when are we getting just ready for a tune video?
Yeah, a lot of people ask me for that because Richard Bradley sort of does it loosely, doesn't he? He does it a bit. But obviously the private Snapchats are where it really kicks off. And so many people ask me that.
I'm part of this community and it's a fucking funny place to be.
But imagine that as a professional
Of course,
business,
you can't do that.
it would ruin your business. I don't know how it would go, but
it would upset some people.
it would upset a lot of people.
But without being too, you don't have to. Obviously, I'm not saying throw your customers under the bus.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
With some highlight reels. of-
Please don't specify it was this person.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
Upsetting people. But you got
God, I don't even. I can't
What's your
even
favourite story?
think. Where would it even be the best
I
one?
had a whole diff fall out of a car in the dyno.
I had a whole rear subframe fall out of a car. Yeah, but the diff one, that was good. This is where a community can be toxic as well. We'll talk about that car actually. So say for example, this car turns up for tuning and it's riddled, and I mean it, riddled with problems. From the engine setup, the way things are plumbed up, you know, the car had never been run. I put coolant in it, it all falls out the bottom. I put oil in it, I crank it for oil pressure, it all fires out the side of the block. And it's never been run before. So the main thing with a fresh engine is it needs to get bed in quickly. Yeah. So I'm right, this car's in a bad way. I've got it to the point it runs, it's holding fluids. I know this isn't going to work. I know the boost control's not going to be good and all this sort of stuff, but I can get it on the dyno and put some load on it and get that engine bed in. Then the diff falls out of it. And then the diff falls out of it. But I got it bed in. And by this point, I was like, right. I said when the diff fell out, I said to the customer, I was like, look, this car is bad. Come pick it up, fix this, and then bring it back and we'll fully tune it. And I said, it's got enough of a tune on it that you can drive it down the road as much as you like off boost.
Once you bolted your diff.
And it will be fine. So go fix it all that kind of thing. Drive it around, do 500 miles in it, prove it works, make sure it works, bed the engine in, all that kind of thing. Then bring it back. He puts it on a trailer, drives it to another tuner, drops it off. Says this just needs tuning.
You're pissing in the wind before you begin.
And then that customer thinks I've done all this terrible work. Oh, that tuner thinks I've done all this terrible work. I haven't. And then there he is slagging me off on the internet and all this sort of stuff. I haven't done anything.
There's a lot of missing information in these stories, isn't there?
Yeah.
Added 2 and 2 and got 10.
Yeah. So I will say stuff like that is probably the worst.
Whilst we're on that quickly, give us a 30-second highlight reel. You're bringing your car to tuning. What's the 5 things everyone forgets to do?
What's the do's and don'ts? They don't put petrol in their car. They always turn up with no petrol in their car. I would say doing a boost leak test is the best thing you can do, because not only does that check your boost pipes, it checks everything. So it will also check.
It's almost like a mini leak down at the same time.
It's like a leak down at the same time. It will just highlight any issue you've got. You know, maybe the dipstick's going to fire out the door, and then you're like, okay, probably not going to tune that. And it's actually a pretty simple thing to do. I know it's obviously not if you can't weld, but there's ways you could do it without welding. So all I do is get like say that had 1 turbo on it. Say that turbo inlet is 3.5 inch. You get a bit of 3.5 inch pipe, weld a flat onto the end of it, tie a valve in the end, and just pressurize the whole system. That's probably the best thing anyone can do to prep their car for tuning. What I would say is, obviously, if you're not coming to me, you're going somewhere with a rollers, good tyres.
What would you constitute as a good tyre?
The best tyre for a roller is a road tyre, not a semi-slick or anything. Just a really good condition, not an old, like a good new road tyre. Not necessarily new, but not 10 years old.
Yeah, not hard and brittle.
Yeah. what else would I say? Turbo drains. Stop making them out of rubber, rubber AN line or rubber, just for that matter.
Or the thing that's next to
God,
a red hot
yeah,
manifold.
God, and I should think 1 in 5 cars turns up with a drain that's about to melt. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So I either do them as solid aluminium tube all the way down to the block with a little joiner. That's probably the best way because it cannot fail. Yeah. Realistically, they now do flexible.
Yeah, like corrugated.
Yeah, corrugated. I've used them a lot. So it bolts to the turbo and it's got an AN fitting on the end of it, but it's about so long and corrugated flex. You put it where you want, and then you can have a little joiner. If you must use braided line, use PTFE tape and heat sleeve it, but I just would never recommend it. So the reason why, the thing other people don't understand, they're like, oh, but my coolant line is fine and that's a braided line. But have you ever held, say, a water bottle full of water and put a lighter to the bottom of it? Nothing happens. No. If you empty it and put a lighter to the bottom of it, it's got a hole in it. So it's the same thing. You can't melt the line because it's got water inside it, whereas the drain has just got a dribble of oil going through it.
There you go. Highlight point.
Fill it up with fuel.
Fill it up with fuel.
And check before you bring it and says just needs a tune.
Yeah.
It actually just needs a tune.
Don't fill it up with apple green knockoff fuel and then be worried.
Oh, the other thing I will say is I've seen this. I've actually, this is probably the only car I've ever tuned that it didn't even melt a piston. It just lost compression. Is don't take your car to a tuner and say, oh, I'll put 99 in it because it's going to be fast as hell if I put 99 in it. And then when you pick it up, go to Tesco's or put 95 in it. Don't do that. And I had a customer do that, and he said, yeah, I put V-power in it so it'd make more power on the dyno, but then I would just run it on Sainsbury's fuel. I was like, you can't do that, mate. And it lasted over a year. And then he just said it just got slower and slower and slower. And I was like, what fuel? Because it was on all 6. It was just evenly getting worse. I don't know why it didn't.
General detonation.
Yeah, but it didn't really have much. Yeah, I don't know. It obviously just didn't like it. Yeah, it just wore it out, I guess. And I said to him, what fuel, have you still got this on 99? He was like, oh no, I just put 95 in it. I was like, mate. But yeah, whatever fuel you put in it to take it to tuning, it needs to stay on it. But only the octane. Say you tune it on SO 99, you can still put Shell 99 in it.
Out of interest, what's your pump fuel of choice in this country?
V-Power is my, but also the SO 99. That's banging. That's good. Yeah.
There you go. Final question. This is a little bit related to what we said earlier, but I'll ask anyway. This is a long one. This is a bit of a long one. I'm not going to read it all, but
yeah.
As a guy with a drift car or any sort of car that needs tuning, how are we supposed to know which tuners to trust in the UK? So many have bad press attached to their name. It seems absolutely impossible to choose.
Yeah.
There are so many big name tuners out there that have some horror stories attached. So how do you decipher what's right, what's not? How do you figure out, oh, this guy's going to be good to tune my car?
I would, for one, look at, say, the type of person the tuner is. Because if he's out there telling everyone's shit, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean it's true kind of thing. But then or look at the people that are saying the stories about what's happened and the people that are saying, oh, look at this, look at that, or whatever. You don't really know what's true and what isn't, do you? People love to gossip and people love drama. They absolutely love it. I would go with whoever people recommend as good. So say you've had a good experience with my tunes.
They're a bit flat.
Yeah.
Word of mouth.
Yeah, word of mouth,
like
realistically.
Generally stuff that you can see.
And I would listen to people that aren't just, say somebody's recommending somebody, but they're the sort of person that's just running their mouth all the time as well. Don't listen to them. Listen to somebody that's a level-headed person, say like, I don't know. Can you think of a person that's a nice guy that you would trust his opinion kind of thing? One
thing you said earlier that spoke to me was you said, I listen to the customer and I'll build the customer or tune the car to what the customer wants.
Yeah.
Not everyone is different. Everyone's different. Everyone wants a car from a different purpose.
Yeah.
And just because you got 40 or 50 or 60 grand for an R32 GTR doesn't mean you've driven loads of old Japanese cars and have the ability to drive them in
But also a lot of people don't want their car, the limit of their engine dying here. They don't want it tuned here. Yeah, they want it tuned here. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
But you can still do 99.9%.
But you still can do it. It's just, it's whatever the person wants.
Appetite for risk of the customer,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And having an understanding to know where they're at in that risk.
Yeah.
Or fact.
So look at the person.
Yeah, and then also, I think we actually spoke about this briefly. We were talking about it before we started recording, weren't we? Is ECU choice.
Yeah.
And a lot of people now, back to the ECU master thing, you said, oh, you don't like tuning ECU masters or whatnot, is I'll then get people message me and they say, oh, can I book my car in for tune? And it's got an ECU master on it. I go, well, actually, I don't really want an ECU master on it. I'd want to change it to something else. And then they're like, but I really wanted you to tune it. I'm like, well, why didn't you speak to me first? So the best thing you can do is say you already know you want that person to tune your car, just talk to them. It's as simple as that. If you want an outcome, it's a bit like, say I had an R34 here for tuning the other day, had a G30 on it, and he's like, so very much pump fuel, just basic build. He's like, this should make 800 horsepower, shouldn't it? I'm like, no, mate. Like, why is a G30 making 800 horsepower on V-power, let alone ethanol or anything? He's like, but it's a G30 900 there. Oh no, they're the new one now, 880 or 825 or something, I don't know. He's like, but the turbo's rated to 800. I was like, it doesn't mean you're getting a magic 800. That's not how it works.
Yeah, you don't just bolt it on, it does 800.
So again, if he wanted 800, he should have talked to me and been like, I want you to tune my car. This is what I want. How do we get there?
Well, that leads me on a little bit to myself. Dave, Garage 21's building my engine. He contacted you to say, what do you want in that engine? So that Jack knows when that engine comes, what compression it should have, what specs it's built to, and therefore you can work with that because you know what you've got, don't you?
Yeah.
So if you've got, the more information you've got as the tuner, or whoever the tuning may be, the better result you're gonna
100%,
have.
Yeah, but then I do also think, I get a lot of time, people will message me and they'll be like, I'm sorry to bother you and that kind of thing. I'd rather somebody bother me every week with a question about their build to know that when it turns up, I'm going to stick on the dyno and I'm going to be happy, let alone they're going to be happy.
Not to have, it just needs a tune and then have it on the dyno 4 times to fix all the other little bits.
Exactly that.
Before you can even tune it.
But, it's the same thing as well. If you can't speak to your tuner like that and he's getting pissed off, you're asking him questions, probably wouldn't go to him. I'd probably go to somebody that's going to help you.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
That's the same of any profession.
Yeah,
whether
exactly.
You've got an electrician or a plumber or a builder.
Yeah.
If you ring your builder up and you're like, can you come and quote? And they're like, fuck off, mate, I'm too busy. It's a bit of shit anyway. You're going to go, well, do I want to pay him to build my house?
Yeah, exactly.
It sort of goes back a little bit to what we were saying in the last podcast. We were talking about sponsorship.
Yeah.
People going around with their hand out asking for things.
Yeah.
We both both have the opinion that it's not about that. A good sponsor is someone that you've built a genuine relationship with the person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not demanding a product from someone.
Yeah.
And I think this is the same thing. You want an outcome. You need to build a rapport and both know what the end goal is and how to get there.
Yeah.
And take it.
Build something you want people to see with your name on it, I guess.
The customer needs to respect you and your statements on it needs to have this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And there needs to be an element of trust both ways that they're going to deliver you what you have previously sort of spoken about.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a relationship thing, really, isn't it, as well? Again.
Yeah. One thing I will touch base on as well, because this is a very talked about thing, I would guess, and a very opinionated thing, is locking ECUs. So,
good point.
yeah. And this will probably spark war, but
You locked my ECU.
I lock
And you're the
everyone's.
person that touches
I lock everyone's
You
ECU.
locked my ECU, and I've known you for 20 years.
I lock everyone's ECU, and a lot of people will say, people that lock ECUs are hiding something. Not hiding anything. What I'm doing is trying to stop you fiddling with it. Is what I'm trying to do.
Because it will be your name above it when it goes bang.
Yeah. And then people will kick off and they'll be like, but if I've got a problem, how am I meant to fix it? I'm like, you're not. You're meant to message me and say, I've got a problem. How do we fix it? Do you see what I mean? And a lot of people say they haven't asked. I wouldn't just be like, this is how much to tune your car. By the way, I'm going to lock your ECU. It's just, I don't know. I figure most people expect it nowadays. But sometimes I've had it before where people will pick up a car. It's tuned perfectly fine. They've taken it away. They're like, I'm really happy. 2 days later, they're like, I need the password for my ECU. I'm like, why? Like, what could you possibly need that for already? It's like, I need to change something. What? I'm like, what? What do you need to change?
Why have you paid for my service?
Yeah. And I'll just try and think back to one. So the first thing that comes to my head is, I think it was an S13 that I tuned for somebody. Again, it was a bit of a ropey car kind of thing. Tuned it, happy days, he buggers off. A couple of days later, he's begging me for a password for his ECU. And I'm like, why? He's like, the car's running really lean and I need to add some fuel to it. I'm like, you definitely don't. And it turned out that the fuel pump relay that he'd fitted in the boot was really badly wired up, and it was basically arcing out and turned the fuel pump on and off, basically pulsing the fuel pump was what it was doing. And if I hadn't have helped him diagnose that, logged into it and, tried to figure out what was going on with it, he'd have been there pressing page up.
Yeah.
And
then that pump would have given up and it would have melted anyway.
Yeah, and he would have probably fucked his tune up, fucked his car up, and that kind of thing. And I'd much rather somebody go, I've got a problem, will you help me? Most of the time, to be fair, 99.9% of the time, I didn't charge people for that. If I've tuned a car, I've agreed to help with that car for the rest of its time it's got my tune on it. Obviously, certain things are different, but if it's just...
With limitations.
Yeah, with limitations, obviously. But if they're just like, I've got this problem, can you help me? Say, for example, people will be like, oh, my car's overboosting or something. I'll log in and be like, I can't control the boost. You've got a melted line somewhere. They find the line. Whereas if it was unlocked, they'd be in there fucking around and yeah. But what it also does is it forces them to message me. Yeah. Because again, like I say, that S13 guy, if he hadn't been forced to message me because he didn't think he could fix it himself, he would have been looking everywhere in the wrong places. So what I've done is then...
And then it would have melted, and then it would have been Jay's car.
And then it would have been my fault. Yeah, it's exactly that. Yeah.
This doesn't apply to just any customers either. I asked this same question.
Yeah, me.
And I got told, well, if you want to tune it, delete my tune and tune it.
Yeah.
Not in a shitty way, just you don't need to be in there, so leave it alone.
Yeah.
And he was right. I didn't need to be in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
The only thing I feel is I personally, I'm fine with you know what you're doing, I don't. You do it. But I do feel sometimes, not guilty, but like I don't want to ask.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Do you know
So
what I mean?
people do feel like that, but that's what I mean. If you can't ask your tuner for help, you've got the wrong tuner.
True, but I think some people are a bit too polite.
And I can understand why people get angry if their ECU's locked and they've got a problem and their tuner isn't helping them and they're just stuck there like, what the fuck do I do about this? Because just sat there like, what? But it's even today. So say, for example, one of my customers, he's got a Mark II Escort with a SR in it. He was at Coombe, I think, doing a track day. He's like, mate, the car started misfiring. Would you mind if I just send you some logs? And I was like, yeah, fine, send them over. And I was like, there's nothing wrong there. It must just be like a coil pack or something has gone down or something. And I've been helping him diagnose that all day. I've logged in about 3 times, just sort it out for him and stuff. And, I haven't asked him for any money or anything. I was just helping the guy with his track day.
Well, to be fair, when you turned my car up to all the source, we went to Santapod and you logged into it and just tweaked a few bits.
Yeah, check it in the real world and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Martin Fatty was on the 1s and 2s.
You were.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I'm sure you do that for anyone just to make sure they're happy.
But I would always rather have a relationship like that where I've tuned a car, I'm going to look after it with you and help you with any faults and get logs and check that your car's okay. And, there's no reason why you need to be in your ECU because I'm helping you and doing it all for you.
So there's an aftercare service as well. It's not just
exactly.
out the door and fuck off.
But I do fully understand why people can be pissed off if somebody locks their ECU and then just tells them to fuck off. You see what I mean? That I can understand. Yeah.
Again, there's more to that story, isn't there? It's not just the fact.
But to be fair, there's pretty much, I think there's only one customer that I can think of that after I've explained that to them when they've kicked off that their ECU's got a password on it, they've all been like, oh yeah, that actually makes sense. I can actually think of a local guy as well. He wanted to tinker with some stuff and I said, let me remote in and do it and that sort of thing. And he was like, it's a good job you did that. I'd have never figured that out. And again, it's the same thing. He was forced to message me. And
ultimately, again, like we said earlier, it's that little bit of knowledge is dangerous.
Yeah.
You think you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, you don't because you would have tuned it in the first place.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I wouldn't rewire my house. But I'm not an electrician. That's why you pay an electrician.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Unless you're an electrician, then do it yourself.
Yeah.
Which is basically what you're saying.
Yeah. But yeah, like I say, every customer that I've explained that to, and I'm like, all you got to do is drop me a message.
Yeah.
I can only think of one that kicked off so much, but he is a strange guy.
If it's the guy I think
he's very well known on the internet.
And got banned from the Driftworks.
And I didn't know who he was when I tuned his car. If I knew what he was, I'd never have tuned it, but I didn't know at the time. But.
Fair enough.
Better hindsight. Have you got any questions?
No, I don't think I have. I think we've sort of rattled through the cool things. And
yeah, I have a couple of questions.
Go.
I have 10 questions. What we've been through your past. we've been through the sort of present. What's the future? What's the future for you in terms of what events are you looking to do? What are you doing with Jay's Garage?
Yeah.
And what are your like future goals effectively? Sounds a bit cringe, but
So we'll do the quickest one first, which is what's the future with this sort of place.
Yep.
Is mostly just tuning. I do make wiring looms. I've already fit Josh's, so I can't show it to you. Basically making wiring looms from scratch to, say RB swap on
I had a beautiful
S15.
loom in my 32.
What, the original one?
No, not that one.
Oh, I was going to say, because didn't that have a cut and shut style with you?
The second one Jack made from scratch.
Oh, I don't remember making a loom for that.
Yeah, you did.
Did I? Fuck.
mine was still a cut and shut.
Yeah, yours was
That's
still.
changed.
Yeah, that's not getting a cut and cut anymore. Those days are long gone. But yeah, anyway, I make looms from scratch for stuff like that. And to be fair, it's not even just engine swap looms now. A lot of the GTR looms and stuff I do, people just want new looms that are tidy. Say you do loads of stuff. Say you do e-throttle and you get rid of all that junk that's
All
on
that 90s stuff.
Yeah, all that
you don't
90s
need.
stuff. By the time you've modded a factory loom, you might as well just build a new one. So a lot of those are getting new looms as well. And then mostly just, looms and tuning really is the main focus. Events, the main one at the minute is GTR Festival. So Andrew from Motive Video is coming to the UK to do the first GTR Festival UK. He obviously does them in Australia, and the GTR scene's massive in Australia. And with most of my customers being in the GTR scene, it's now obviously everyone's like, oh, my car's got to be done. The list of cars
You're
is...
the busiest man in the world.
it's disgusting. I don't know.
Plus 2 personal.
It's
cars.
like, okay, so which people on this list are we disappointing? Like, who's not going to make it? But that's exciting for me, I think, because I've got into a lot of just trying to make fast cars as opposed to anything else. So I think the goal is to
high quality cars.
is to make some just really fast cars, basically. I'm hoping the 32 should do an 8-second quarter. I've got customers that want to do a 7-second quarter, and that's pretty quick.
That's a big step.
It's pretty
that
quick.
second's a lot of money
It
to
is,
get from
yeah.
8 to 7.
So yeah, I think the goal is just sort of try and push the drag racing thing a bit, I think.
Interesting. I never had you down as a drag racing guy.
I've never really been a drag racing guy, but I think it sort of goes with the tuning thing, because all you're ever doing is trying to make power.
tuning.
Yeah, and obviously power and drag racing come hand in hand. So.
And power management in drag racing.
That as well, yeah.
Fair play.
Very interesting.
So,
And what about you? Like, what are your personal goals in terms of do you want 10 GTRs?
Do not want 10 GTRs. I do not. I need to sell most of the stuff that I own.
Fire sale, which is
Just a quick side quest. Jack set up a second business doing car storage, so he had a reason to build another unit to store people's cars. How many cars have you got in there?
There is actually 5 customer cars now
How
for
many cars are
storage.
in there total?
Oh, I don't know, 18.
So we start great this month. We've man maths the new building is what's happened.
Yeah.
You built a building for storage, and 18 of the cars that are in there are yours.
No, -5.
There's 18
Oh,
in
Yeah, there's 18
Five,
in there.
five,
yeah.
Well, 13 of them are
13
Yeah.
are yours.
But again, a lot of them are going to be sold and that kind of thing.
So keep an eye on Jack's socials, because I'm sure you'll put them on there, I guess.
Yeah, like I've actually got somebody like the GTRs that come out of the container. My friend Alex has actually come to look at the black one. He's ever so excited about it, because who gets a cheap GTR nowadays?
no one.
Bear in mind the price of that starts with a 2, so
That's cheap.
it's a cheap
in this
GTR.
area.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they used to start with a 2 and had 500 quid on?
Yeah, I do. I can remember when nobody wanted 32 GTRs because they weren't rear-wheel drive,
No.
and the drive shafts in the front were a pain because you couldn't get lock out of them.
So Jack will know my friend Ash, who I bought my 32 from.
Yeah,
And he got through a few Jap cars in his day.
he did. He did.
I remember once he turned down an active red R34 GTR. It wasn't a V-spec, it was a GTR.
Yeah.
Off the American Air Force Base for £5,800.
Fucking hell.
It was too expensive.
Yeah. I can remember it like clear as day. People just didn't want them.
There was a
They
man in
didn't want
Ireland
them.
that used to do Tully Roan, which is a banger track oval circuit in an active red 34 GTR with the front shaft pull
Shit.
as a drift car
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
But you're going to get for the GTR Festival, you're going to get the patrol done?
Yeah, so the patrol is towing the 32 there.
How big is your willy?
It's just a cool rig to have, isn't it? Yeah, it's just a cool thing.
You almost need to build a cool trailer to take it.
That's exactly what my dad said. My dad was here yesterday, actually. He just popped in. He was like, you need to get a black trailer. I was like, would be cool.
This sounds cheap.
I was like, who the hell gets a Brian James trailer and sends it for powder coating? Like,
What
can
wheels
you get
are going
black?
on your GTR?
I don't know. They'll be black. Yeah.
Oh, okay, you're going full black.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if you could find a small set to put on the trailer as well.
Yeah, it would be cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's spend some money.
Yeah.
Spend some of Jack's money.
But yeah, it'll be a full murdered out where the patrol's black on black. You can see that. But then that's going to have, like, I'll do the windows pretty dark on it. And I'll do the same with the 32.
Every
and
car of Jack's is
black
black,
on
by
black.
the way. That's his personal car. Or apart from the 13 in the early days, that had a few
Yeah, but it got painted black.
variations, but then it became black,
Yeah,
and then
did we-
everything ever since has
Yeah.
been black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any more questions?
That was it, really.
Oh.
Thank you very much.
Enough
for
about it. No worries. Been
Yeah,
fun.
hopefully everyone's enjoyed a little
Us
peek
talking
behind
crap. Yeah.
for a man that many people probably don't know of. We're lucky enough to know him on a personal level, so we've touched on some of the stories that we can say publicly. Some of them are wilder than that, but
Some you can't even get away with allegedly.
Yeah, some of them
not
have
enough
been
allegedly in
questionable.
the world for some of them. But
No.
hopefully you've enjoyed getting a sort of peek behind what it takes to tune some of the fastest cars in the country.
Yeah. And if you need to book in your car for tuning or a wiring loom, but please don't message him about building your car from scratch. Building your patrol.
He hasn't got time.
He hasn't got time. Obviously, you can contact him.
Another thing you said about talking to tuners as well is I would always talk to them long in advance before you want them
Yes.
to do your
Or
car.
if they're good.
Yeah.
If they can fit you in next week,
Yeah, that's
we need
true.
to ask some questions.
That's
Yeah.
true.
if they say leave it tomorrow, I'll get it done at the end of the week.
Yeah,
Probably not great.
bit of a red flag.
Yeah. But no, thank you very much for your time.
No worries.
I hope you guys enjoyed that. In the meantime,
Jack socials.
Jack's socials are.
What's your Instagram social?
Jay's Garage
put it
Motorsport,
underneath,
maybe? Don't
and-
know. I actually don't know.
What's the best way to contact you if people want to book in for work?
I'd probably say Facebook.
Old school.
Like the Facebook work page.
Yeah.
Because Instagram sometimes I get lost in a request.
Yeah.
Or go on my website and then email me. That'll always come through as well.
Yeah. Excellent.
There you go.
You definitely will not find a phone number for me anywhere because if I answered that all day, every day, nothing would get done.
If you ask me, I'll give you it.
But if you want,
For a fee.
what I always do is if somebody messages me and they're like, "Oh, what's your phone number? I need to talk to you about something." I'm like, well, "What do you need to talk to me about?" And they're like, "Oh, I need you to put a K20 in a Fiesta." I'm like, "You don't need my phone number."
Fair play.
Fair play. Thank you very much, Jack.
No worries.
Yeah, in the meantime, you can follow us on at idle.chat. And personally, I'm Adam MS15 and
I'm Callum Pitt. So thank you very much, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again very soon.
see you on the next one.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.